Hey there, everybody. It is Thursday, and not only that, it's the first Thursday of the month, which means we've got the man, the myth, the professor, Dr. Will Dodson. Welcome back, sir. How are we?
Oh man, I was just going through a month where, you know, every day is gray, every day is like Sunday. And I spend most of the time just trying to stave off the darkness. And then we come to the first Thursday, and I'm like, oh, a crevasse of joy.
Crevasse of joy. Oh man, I might have to make that the backside of the redesigned tote bag that I'm releasing with your name on it soon in the merch store.
I think it screams to be on the back of a pair of shorts.
Yeah, that works too. There's a lot of things that scream to be on the back of a pair of shorts. Welcome everybody to Reconnected. If you've never been a part of these, every single Thursday we go over all of the physical media announcements from the previous week. We tend to go over some recent pickups, some recent watches, and then after the show we usually have some sort of a film-based discussion, unless Will's here, and then we kind of just shoot the shit for a little while because this is usually the longest show anyways. So we don't want to go 7 hours the first Thursday of every month, but we do tend to have a lot of tangents and other discussions along the way. One, Josephine DeMarco's here with us tonight. She wants to know, are we looking forward to Megalopolis?
Yeah, I am. Francis Ford Coppola is, like all great artists, misunderstood and sometimes sometimes makes mistakes. But I love the story, of how he's pouring, his own resources into it. And I'm not saying it's his swan song, but I've actually been really interested in, a lot of filmmakers go back to their older movies and make changes and alterations. He's been making a project of it, and in several cases has discovered really good movies in there. Like his redux of the Cotton Club, I think, was fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing the edited One from the Heart as well. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to Megalopolis.
I am too. It's getting pretty interesting reviews for the few that have seen it in a couple of these preview shows. There was somebody that said Francis Ford Coppola is somehow finding new things to do with cinema in 2024, and it's his masterpiece, which is wild to hear about a Francis Ford Coppola film in 2024.
Yeah, I think it's great that there's that excitement. I try not to ever listen to critics and marketers, but but there very, very well maybe something to it. I think it's really cool that Warner Archives just announced Blu-ray upgrades of You're a Big Boy Now and what is it, The River People?
Yeah.
The Rain People. And I haven't seen The Rain People before, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Still need a 4K patent, which he wrote. Come on.
I'm sure it'll happen eventually. Yeah, lots of interesting stuff to talk about. We have a ton of announcements to go over. I think we got like 60, 65, something like that. And of course, it's OCN week. We got Radiance titles. You and I don't get a chance to talk about Radiance together all that often. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be discussing that tonight. We've got lots of stuff to hype up for what's coming up. But first, any recent pickups you want to share with everybody?
Would you say we have a plethora of announcements?
At least, yes.
Pickups or watches? What are we doing first?
Let's do pickups first.
Oh man, I had a good month.
I see a wild Spider Labyrinth behind you.
Yeah, got my contributor copy of Spider Labyrinth. Let's see. There was an opportunity on an unnameable giant conglomerate to pick up a couple of Fritz Lang movies that I did not have. Human Desire, which is a Kino release, right? And a Warner Archive release for Rancho Notorious. So that was, I haven't seen either of them. So, and I'm a big Fritz Lang guy. I was very bummed when this went out of print, and I would not have done this OCN and Vinegar Syndrome Overlords. I would not have done this had it not gone out of print, but I did find on eBay for a very reasonable price. Boggy Creek 2 and the legend continues. So pretty stoked about that. And then all of our good friends, Mike, Grindhouse Video, had a very nice 88 sale on the website. And so, I got stupid. Got Taxi Hunter.
Nice.
Got Long Arm the Law 1 and 2. Got Magic Cop. Postman Fights Back.
That's one that I'm wanting to watch here soon.
Last Blood.
Nice.
And a Fernando de Leo film, Blood and Diamonds. So that was very, very pleasing to me. I bit the bullet. And I shouldn't have, because I bit the bullet before doing our taxes, but I did get onto a little Shout Select situation, because Takashi Miike's Deadly Outlaw Rekka, even with no special features, hey, Shout Factory, we're here. you got four commentaries on Orphan. Come on.
Four commentaries on Orphan.
Huh?
Four brand new commentaries.
4 brand new commentaries on Orphan. It's like, I can only think of one other disc that is as stacked as that. But anyway, I got Deadly Outlaw Rekka. I got the great Fred Olen Ray, Venomous, nice. And of course, Jill Rips. Really preferred Jill the Ripper as a title, but it's Dolph. It's Anthony Hickok's Rest in Peace. And then finally, I got some art films. I got the Kino Silent Avant-Garde selection, and a film that I've really admired for a long time, and for some reason never had a copy. Another little indie art film, Zombievers. Big fan of Zombievers.
Oh man, I need to see. I think I have that one. I need to verify.
It's worth a watch.
Yep, definitely have that one. Yeah, I remember liking that one. That one's been a long time.
Yeah.
Man, you got a lot more than what I was going to share. First, two in from Imprint this month. I got in their release of 1979's Ravagers. This one is unfortunately completely empty of extras, which is super rare for Imprint. But it's a movie I've wanted to see for quite some time. And then the other one, this is the one that people were very, very excited about. Thankfully, we got a couple new extras on this one. Batteries Not Included. This one, we've got an interview with the director on this, and an interview with the writer, Mick Garris, and then also a brand new interview with Sarah Horner. So there's a few things on there. You mentioned eBay. So I will say recently I was involved in a conversation with Jesse from Diabolic. We were chatting for a little while, and there was some title that everybody was talking about on Twitter that day, and unfortunately the title was out of print, and Jesse and I were both looking for it at the same time. And the next day he found a store on eBay that was selling not necessarily the entire release because it was out of print, but they were selling the sleeve and the disc, not of this one. I mean, they were, but it was this film, Lost River. So Jesse and I both picked this up from this eBay store. So just a little heads up for everybody. If you got extra cases laying around, this thing was like $4.50 for an out of print title that was going crazy because everybody wanted it all of a sudden because it's supposedly a really great Ryan Gosling film. And I had been wanting to see this for quite some time. And $4.50, like, you can't really argue with that. But the cool thing, they had both of these, and there was buy two, get one free of their entire eBay store. So these all together was like $7.50, something like that. And I got a third title. It was a couple DVDs. The next day I got an email that said that title was damaged, so they couldn't send it to me. So they discounted these even further. So I got these for like $5.20 shipped from eBay. That's insane.
Nice. That feels good.
It did feel good, I gotta admit. You know what else feels good? Brand new, finally in hand, all of the physical releases
Yeah.
of the Physical Media Advocate.
Look at that.
I did want to shout out to everybody right now. If you are interested in these, I have 2 full sets at home. If you don't want to shop through Amazon, send me a DM. I can get you sent them out here. The other big thing is we need letters to the editor. If you are looking to get featured and you want somebody to respond to you, that's not necessarily me. We've got other people responding
Can I
to
do that?
editors. You can write into the editor. Yes.
No. I want to respond.
You'll have to play rock, paper, scissors with Ed to be able to do that. If you want to do that, if you ever wanted to contribute, write an essay of some sort or do a review or anything like that, we'd love to have you. Not just you, Will. Anybody else, if there's something you'd like to share, you've got a written piece ready, let us know. We would like to check it out and see if we can put it in a future issue. We've got issue number 9, should be coming out here in the next month or so, as soon as we got it ready. It's been wild to see this grow. Check it out if you get a chance. There's a link in the description below for the electronic version and the physical version. Other than that, Will, what have you been watching?
Well, I have a couple questions before we even pivot.
Shoot.
Have you considered a subscription for the Physical Media Advocate? Do you feel
I
like
have.
Feel like the foundation is getting strong enough?
Yeah, actually I do. Unfortunately, I don't know that it's going to be super possible until I get the website up and running. And even then, I think setting up a full store on that site seems very out of my comfort zone, but we'll see.
Because it's looking like Fangoria quality with the paper stock and everything. And
I gotta admit, it's nicer than Fangoria for some of these. Like, the paper actually feels better. I mean, full color, everything. We've got in-house made graphics promoting certain boutiques.
Nice.
We've got full list of release dates in here. So if you ever lose track of what's coming out, it's this page. So let me share. Like, if you just lose track of everything that's coming out all over the world, we get the most important titles. So you can take a look and highlight the ones that you want, like you always used to do in the zines. We've got ongoing, pieces on some old school Hollywood actors. We've got every month we've got a piece on the first 100 spines from Arrow in the U.S. We've got somebody reviewing all 100 titles. We've got Eugenio Ercolani, who is checking in from Italy every month with what he's working on, who he's interviewing, the reactions to some of his stuff. Like I said, we've got letters to the editor. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Check them out.
Yeah, I'm going to read one of those. Hey, I agree with Craig. I would love to do a advice column or something.
I would honestly love that.
We'll have to talk about it. Did you, I don't know, well, it's in the comments, but did you see Deaf Crocodile teasing the entire audience with
I did not.
With a teaser? There was such a great tease.
Slow it down, Will. There may or may not be a new subscription coming that you'll need to pay for.
Yeah.
Well, hell. Let me call my bank real quick. Great.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Cool. What are we doing? Watches?
Exciting. Yeah, let's do some watches. What have you been checking out?
Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to talk more about this in the next few minutes, but I just watched Lady Reporter, the Eureka release.
Wow, why are we going to talk about that, Will?
Featuring a goddamn commentary, 3 commentaries.
Yep.
So yeah, we're having a discussion about that for sure. I'm continuing my typical research deep dives, and this is going to be a combo recent watches, and these still don't have Blu-ray edition restorations world.
Somebody please release these.
Well, so these are all Something Weird double features. The Defilers, of course, Lee Frost has gotten a release, but Scum of the Earth by Herschel Gordon Lewis has not, and we definitely need Scum of the Earth restored. Just for the Hell of It and Blast Off Girls. Great juvenile delinquent movies. His last couple movies, Blood Feast 2, All You Can Eat, featuring a John Waters cameo. I feel like this needs a Blu-ray. And The Uh-Oh Show, which is quite good, and features that one guy.
That one guy.
What?
Clearly a research piece.
Mike Christopher, Joel Wynkoop, all those dudes. And I discovered what I think might actually be my favorite Herschel Gordon Lewis movie, one I had never seen before. A double feature of This Stuff Will Kill Ya, featuring the very first appearance of Larry Drake.
Interesting.
Of Darkman and LA Law fame.
Yeah.
Oh, and also he's Dr. Giggles.
Huh.
So Larry Drake's very first film credit is Herschel Gordon Lewis's This Stuff Will Kill Ya. But I think Lewis's best movie, which is a political satire that came out before Robert Redford's The Candidate, The Year of the Yahoo, about a marketing company attempting to engineer a country singer Senate campaign. Sounds kind of like Robert Altman's Nashville as well, in some place. You're the Yahoo's pretty good. I'm going to be. Is Scum of the Earth in the Feast box set?
I just checked. Scum of the Earth is on Blu-ray in the Feast box set.
Hell yeah! That goes to the for sale pile.
Oh man,
that's funny
amazing.
Too, because the Herschel Gordon Lewis set is right behind me. But I guess I hadn't, as I've revealed, I haven't watched all of it yet. I'm still working my way through. So those. I also watched something else on streaming. I have to watch more streaming stuff now because most of my collection is in boxes. But I didn't think I would like this, and I did. Dash Cam.
You liked Dash Cam?
The Rob Savage, the guy who did Host. I can see you did not like Dash Cam.
I have not watched it yet because of the people that I tend to agree with, which this checks out because you and I tend to be polar opposites. Most of them have said that Dash Cam is just insufferable.
Right, because of Annie Clark's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she is insufferable.
She's supposed to be.
Yeah, she's supposed to be. It's like an exaggerated version of herself. But man, her life story, her music is amazing, first of all. And her life story, holy cow, just tragic. And yeah, you know, some of her real life political views are to the right of me, but she's not like the character. And some people say, right. "Oh yeah, she's a Trumper." She's not a Trumper. She does that to piss people off. She voted for Kanye, so nothing wrong with that, right?
What a protest vote!
I think it was pre, anti-Semitism, but
oh boy.
But I did. I'll say this: it was only 78 minutes, and I did get exhausted. Right, like so. I say I liked it, but I'm not like I don't want to buy it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't want to see it again. But like the scares in the movie, like really, it takes a lot to get to me. And the scares in that movie, for whatever reason, I was like, whoa, you know. So that is not an endorsement or a recommendation. It's something that I watched.
I totally get it. Man, the Kanye thing just reminded me of the moment when I was interviewing Bill Plimpton for Deaf Crocodile's release of The Tune recently, and I was like, yeah, it seems like Bill Plimpton was always there, showing up in a Kanye West music video, and he goes, yeah, that was before all of the other stuff.
Well, you know, who knows what darkness lurks in the heart of a man till he spews it all over social media. You know, and this is one of the reasons why I think Bergman is one of my favorite filmmakers, because, you know, when it comes to wallowing in the dark spaces of human psyche, he gets it. And that's where I've been the last several dozen years, just in this dark space where I'm glad that I haven't had access to social media to give voice to my inarticulable rage, resentment, depression, self-loathing. And that's why Bergman's right up there with Wynorski for me.
Get through that entire thing deadpan was great job. That was amazing. Some recent watches for me, which I had a surprisingly busy week for myself. Speaking of things that are a chore to get through, a lot of people have said that about the most recent Scorsese film. Did you ever watch Killers of the Flower Moon, Will?
No, not yet. It's at the end of my Scorsese festival. Real quick, though, I need to respond to Sam, who said I'm being political. I'm not being political. I'm not endorsing Kanye West. Pay attention to what I'm saying.
It's satire, Sam. Come on.
Jesus.
My wife had not seen Killers of the Flower Moon, and we got away this weekend. Went away from the kids. They got to stay with grandma for a few days, and I got to rewatch Killers. And I got to admit, it worked a lot more for me on the second try for some reason, and I loved it the first time. It grew in esteem the second time. I thought it was a remarkable achievement, and honestly jumped up to top tier Scorsese for me. Before it was hovering near like the top of the middle, but it's pretty firmly in the top for me, I think, at this point. The wife loved it, but unlike Dashcam, that was 78 minutes, and Killers of the Flower Moon is like 3.5 hours long. So
yeah. Well, and another thing it has in common with Dashcam is neither of them won Oscars.
That's a good point. That's a good point. After that, I was able to do a double feature in a theater for the first time in like 12 years. I don't think that I've been able to do that in ages, since long before we even had kids. So I was able to take my wife to see Late Night with the Devil, and we followed that up with Immaculate. Late Night with the Devil, I thought was pretty fun. I think it was very overhyped by everybody out in the zeitgeist. I don't think it's God's gift to cinema this year or anything like that. I think it was an interesting story. I think there was a whole lot of missteps taken. Like the whole conceit of the found footage aspect kind of breaks when you realize that these people are having very like personal conversations with a with a camera behind the scenes of a TV show. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, obviously. It was good though, and I think the ending paid off. It was just a little abrupt. Like it was not paced super well. But either way, I had fun. It was a fun watch. But then after that, Immaculate. Man, I could talk about Immaculate for like next 45 minutes.
Well, be careful not to be political.
This is a very political movie. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but speaking of a political, stance on a movie, I think that in 2024, it speaks a lot to talk about a movie called Immaculate that is referring to Immaculate Conception when we're talking about consent and women's rights, in a movie that is made to be horrifying in a very 70s fashion. I think Sydney Sweeney absolutely killed it. I think that everybody should see Immaculate. You should probably see it in a theater. It played really well in the theater. Great sound again, continuing the trend that I noticed last year. It seems like movies are stepping up their sound game. A lot of them are really doing better to do much better with surround sound. The Atmos is killing it. Great movie though, and it definitely, like, the last 10 minutes of that movie is worth the price of admission alone. I think the director of that deserves everything that he's got coming towards him. I hope he's got a couple blank slates coming up because he is great.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go see that this weekend. Maybe a double feature. Who knows? It's difficult to get out of the theater.
Yeah,
you know how it is. But yeah, I want to do that. Oh, hey, I did something else. Speaking of going out, I did something.
Yeah.
I interacted live with Rock Chudson.
With the guest we had last week.
Yeah, old John. We met up, went to see Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum.
It's such a when he told me that was the name of the band, I went, "Yep, that's a band Will would like."
Oh yeah, they're a performance. They've been around for like 30 some years. Performance art collective, very Dada. That's where the name comes from. Dada artist. And they were great. But the opening act was this instrumental, like, kind of like technical rock, jazz, improv thing. Trevor Dunn from Mr. Bungle was the bass player, and they're called Titan to Tachyons. Highly recommend checking them out. Check out their Bandcamp. Titan to Tachyons. They rocked the stage to oblivion. And it was cool. It was cool, meeting a fellow film fan, film collector in person and kind of interacting. It's hard for middle age. He's not middle aged, but it's hard for middle aged men to make friends. And particularly hard for me.
It helps when I can make that introduction and you happen to live 25 minutes away from him.
25 minutes, 25 hours. It makes no difference. It's hard to leave the house.
I actually happened to watch a couple more after that too. We talked about Rob Zombie a bunch on this channel, and one that everybody always hounded me that I needed to watch. I finally got to see 31, and man, was that a slog. Did not care much for Rob Zombie's 31. I liked a couple of the scenes, but other than that, man, was that movie rough to watch. Other than that, I won't get too negative about it. But the other one that I could probably get a little more negative about, I saw Fincher's The Killer from last year. Watched it this week. I was very let down with that one too, man. I wanted so much more, but the Fincher style was there, and that was cool. But man, the style over substance did not really jive with me. I thought that a couple of the performances were decent. Obviously, the action scenes were very classic Fincher, which was nice, but everything in between was just not working for me. I really wanted something else from it. I want Fincher to go back to something like Zodiac. He really could shine with something like that. But sorry, John. Sorry.
Well, it'll come as no surprise. I'm not a fan.
Did you actually watch it?
The Killer? No, I haven't seen it yet, so I have nothing positive or negative to say about The Killer. But other films of Fincher's that I have seen, I have strong opinions about.
I don't understand that. He has made some genuine masterpieces.
What?
Zodiac, first of all, that is absolutely a
for
masterpiece.
God's sake, you couldn't even figure out who the killer was.
That was really funny. I still stand by The Social Network being an absolute masterpiece.
Oh, okay.
And then of course Seven is great. I'm not the the facial expression.
I'm trying to be positive.
Got it. Absolutely love it.
I mean, I guess to me, The Social Network is kind of like a remake of Fight Club, except with nerds instead of rich, pretty boys. That's not a criticism. I just think they're the same movie.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I mean, they're both about guys who have imaginary friends. And are kind of misogynistic.
Anyways,
I wasn't saying that Fincher was misogynistic. I'm saying those characters.
Anyways, what? Anything else that we want to bring up before we get into announcements for the night?
Well, now I want to talk about all kinds of things, but I won't. What was I going to say?
You know what?
Hey, you know what? I don't. Stan hasn't made any comments, but I'd like to point to my lighting. My 13-year-old laptop finally died, and I had this other one that is 5 years old that was still in a box in my old office. And so I got it out and it had a dead battery. So I had to get the battery replaced. But now I have a new 5-year-old computer. And I actually messed around with the ring light before we started. And I know it's not great, but I think I look better than usual.
You look pretty great. I will give you that.
I don't, man. I hate myself. You know what I mean? Like, you just get those feelings deep inside and you can't shake them, even though you know you're like a really lucky person. But you're just like, oh, just you look in the mirror and you're just like, fuck you, you know? Like, what a gross loser. And all that stuff was actually supposed to just be an inner monologue. I'm sorry.
Dave says Will needs to be on stage at a comedy club. He'd kill it. I agree. He'd kill something.
I think I would get heckled out of there. So I'd be like, quit being political.
Silhouetted Animator says, I would love an individual Boxer's Omen Shaw Brothers release someday. Thanks for that throw-in donation. Appreciate that. Honestly, agree. I think that it would do fairly well for them too. There's if you watched, we're going to talk about this in the announcements tonight, but there was a conversation done with James Flower over at Arrow Video this week. Posted that on the channel, and he did confirm Shawscope Volume 3 is coming. I believe this year. And it sounds like, heads up for the big thing, for anybody that hasn't listened to it yet, the big thing that he dropped is the first two Shawscopes hung around longer than they wanted to. They didn't sell as quick. I think they printed more than they probably should have. But basically said, we're going to be printing less of Shawscope Volume 3. So that means if you want it, you're probably going to want to buy Volume 3 sooner than later.
Dag nabbit.
Yeah.
Wow.
The other thing, you brought up Fritz Lang earlier. I wanted to ask, do you have the big Fritz Lang Silence box set that Kino put out? Is that good?
Yeah.
Could you expand on it? Because there's a reason. I wanted to highlight for everybody. Kino Lorber is having one of their big sales right now. This Fritz Lang box set is on sale for only $80, and it's the cheapest it ever will be.
So take this with a grain of salt, because I did manage to get that box set through my work. And because that, even at $80, that's a hefty price tag. And if you're not like into silent film, then there's no point. But if you like Fritz Lang, if you are interested in silent film grammar, like there's a whole different storytelling methods. If you're interested in the kind of evolution of visual style, of which Fritz Lang is probably one of the top 10. They're great. I mean, the sets, you get Metropolis, you get, but also Spies, like all these like early narratives when filmmaking is still figuring it out, and Fritz Lang is figuring it out faster than pretty much anybody else, and kind of incorporating all of the, artistic developments, expressionism, etc. Like it's one of my favorites. I want to clarify something. D. Sibner said that I said Zodiac is bad. I did not say that.
He said he did not like it.
I said I didn't like it. Every movie is somebody's favorite movie. I learned that like first month here, and it changed my life for the better. I used to hold hatred in my heart for others. Now I just hold it for myself. I think it's I'm like, I know I'm joking around, but like I'm serious. Like I might not like a movie, but it's rare, if ever, that I'll say something is bad, because that's not what a historian or film scholar writer, that's for a critic. I'm not a film critic. I agree.
Silhouetted also wants Invincible season 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. I've heard good things. I've not been able to watch that one yet. Also brought up Metropolis. That's the big one, of course. The Kino release of Metropolis is still like one of the best releases they've put out. I love that piece. Yeah, that's what we got going on. I wanted to shout out that Kino thing because I didn't realize that that set was on sale this time. So I wanted to make sure everybody could get the heads up because that doesn't go on sale in most of the Kino sales.
No,
so
I mean and it's also like the packaging is really great. There's lots of great extras. I mean, it's a big investment. But like if you did like if you have bought any imprint box set in the last 2 years, then you really don't have an excuse not to get this one too.
Well, and I hate the idea of induced FOMO. Will and I have talked about this before. I hate like the whole, this is down to 500, buy it now if you really want it. Not going to talk like that. However, one thing I will say is last year Kino did say that it was going out of print soon. So this, I'm not going to say I know this for sure, but that Fritz set is probably on sale for the last time because that thing, it doesn't even go on sale once a year. And for it to go on sale, if it's going out of print soon, this is the time.
Yeah. No FOMO, but this is your last chance.
Essentially, yes. And I hate saying that, but also this is one of those things that, like, again, I think I talked about this last week with Undercrank. I also hate saying support some of these releases just to support them, but if like you can't go wrong with the Fritz set. We need some of this for silence. Like there's not enough about it. Yes, I know I just said it about Shawscope. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to induce FOMO, I promise.
Induced FOMO. There's your next t-shirt.
Oh gosh, it'll have to have a stethoscope and it'll be a picture of you and it says the doctor's in here to induce FOMO.
Have some of the clapper things. We can make it like the Dr. Giggles
That's great. I might have to Photoshop that.
Our 1133 asks if anyone has the Anime Wong set. I do. I have not watched it yet, but I love Anime Wong. Sam Deegan's got a commentary on one of the films, so I got it at the last sale, so it was down to like 20, 25, something like that.
I think Anthony has it. He might be commenting soon about that. I believe he does have it. There he goes. Yep, Anthony just said yes. It's like I can see through it.
Hey, yeah. Is All That Is Man on the thing tonight?
He is not live at the moment.
Oh, okay. Well, it's funny. I'll just say it for the rest of the audience. I saw All That Is Man's handle. I mean, I've seen it a million times, but I never really thought about it. And then, like, I was looking at it, and all of a sudden, like, some dialogue from the Maxim Gorky play, The Lower Depths, came into my head. The Lower Depths, which Jean Renoir and Akira Kurosawa both adapted into films. And it's a great play. And it has this long section in which a drunk, expounds on the sort of infinite complexity of human beings, man, right? And I was like, wow, All That Is Man is referencing The Lower Depths, So I went back to the script the play, the script of the play, and read the section and it was more or less like All That Is Man is like a near direct quote. And I was like, wow, that is deep for your handle. And then I realized, oh, no. That's a Super Troopers quote. So never mind.
Dude says, I stopped watching Cat Video. Might have missed something important. Is Metropolis going out of print? The Fritz Lang silent box set is going out of print. Man, that was a lot.
It was a lot. Like I'm not kidding. I literally thought that for like a whole day, and then I was like, "Oh, Super Troopers." Right.
Well,
this man.
We are almost 42 minutes into this, and we haven't even seen a single announcement. Are we ready to get started, sir?
I don't think. I mean, all the good stuff was last week.
Well, I mean, I'd argue against that for sure.
Mute witness, baby. I'm done. I'm done for the year.
Mute Witness. Why don't you tell everybody why they should take a look at that? Which, by the way, just started streaming on Shudder. If you have access to that,
I like it.
God damn it, Will. Oh man.
It's oh man. If if you want to teach, film students how to frame shots and edit for suspense, you could do worse than Mute Witness. I'll tell you that. It's great. It's been my number one film for many years, for like most desired Blu-ray upgrade, and now it jumped straight to 4K.
4K.
Like, are you kidding me? I can't wait. It was in the Alamo Drafthouse last December, and so I got to see it in the theater. But before that, I'd only ever seen it on kind of a crappy looking DVD. And it's funny how, like, I talk about crappy looking DVDs when I grew up in the VHS era, and the crappiest DVD just looks like a VHS.
Yeah.
So the DVD looked better than the VHS did. But yeah, and I can't wait to hear the commentary. There's so many cool stories about the making of the film. The filmmaker, what's his name, Anthony Waller, like, he made this freaking masterpiece, and then right after it, American Werewolf in Paris. And has he even made anything since then? I don't know.
That's a good question. I've not checked.
But anyway, I looked over at the commentary and got lost.
The chat is flying tonight, so I totally get that.
Yeah, normally I can't see it, but now I've got a screen wide enough to see it, and it's throwing me off, man. I don't know.
So, as a director, Anthony Waller, since An American Werewolf in Paris, he did The Guilty in 2000, and then 9 Miles Down in 2009, and The Singularity is Near in 2010, and then something called The Piper from last year.
Okay, I don't know any of these. I'll have to see if they're something. I don't know.
The one from last year stars Elizabeth Hurley.
Elizabeth Hurley. I haven't heard her name in a long time.
Right? Interesting. All right. That means it's time to transition over to announcements. And our first one this week is a Kino announcement with no release date, of course, coming soon on Blu-ray. They are putting out number 1 of the Secret Service. This is coming as part of their Kino cult line. I've been dying to hear. Have you seen this one, Will? Because it seems like most people have not, but this one, I looked this up. This thing looks hilarious.
I'm trying to remember if I've ever even seen the box art before, but I don't think my video store had this, or any of the video stores I worked at had this. I don't know it.
It looks fun. I'm certainly eager to see it. And the Kino cult line, if they get as many extras as they've been getting on some of these others, it's going to be pretty great. Can't really argue with it. But then immediately we got a big announcement from them that they're putting out Bottoms from last year on Blu-ray. And I assume you did not see this one last year.
No, but they said it was. I don't really read reviews until after I see a movie, but it looked funny, right?
It's great. I've seen it 3 times. I love this movie.
Wow, it's got that really funny actress from
The Bear.
No, from
Shiva Baby.
No, well, yeah, that too. But I'm thinking of what's that game?
That game.
Pete Davidson's in it.
Oh, gosh, I don't even remember what the title was. Bodies.
That's it. I liked Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Bodies was great. Yeah, Rachel Sennett, she is
She was the best
incredible.
in that. She was the best in that.
And she's the best in this easily. Ayo Debris is the one from The Bear that she, I think she just got an Emmy for that performance in The Bear too. But she had a hell of a year. This movie is amazing. There's a whole lot of people that said that this one should have been on 4K. Honestly, it's a bit of a risk for Kino to put this out at all. We don't know the right situation. There's so many things that could have come into play, but this is an incredible movie. Highly recommend you checking this out. This is a really great like satire piece. There's so many things in this that are just subtly funny in the background. Like you got to read the chalkboards as they go through some of the classrooms, and the dialogue is just a masterclass. It is hilarious. And Will, I think you would appreciate a lot of the humor in this.
What?
Because it is over the top and leaning into the silliest of things.
You think I'm silly?
Yes. Yeah, this movie's great. Highly recommend it. Moving on from here, we're going to talk about a big one now. Chinatown coming on 4K on June 18th from Paramount as part of their Paramount Presents line. And with it, you also get The Two Jakes on Blu-ray, not on 4K for that one. But after this got announced, they also put out some new features that are coming on this. We got author Sam Wasson is speaking about Chinatown. Hot Cook shares stories from his time as the AD on this film. We've got the author again discussing the planned third installment of this trilogy that never happened. But man, Chinatown, this is a big title, and this is one that of course it gets announced on April 1st and people immediately think it's a joke. And it doesn't help that the art that they're using for it. Did you look closely at this? You see how bad this is?
Yeah, that's some AI retouching or something.
That's more than retouching. That's like somebody typed in the words, "Give me a young Jack Nicholson in a hat." And this is what we got. This is pretty bad.
Yeah, well, hopefully the 4K scan doesn't look like that. Let me tell you, that looks waxy.
Yeah.
But it's Chinatown, you know. It's no way you can comment on it. It's a really well made movie. One that certainly had a huge impact on film and film history. Two Jakes was less successful in many ways, but I kind of think it's cool that it's included as a bonus. I think that's appropriate in some ways. Yeah, maybe the cover art is the April Fool's joke. I hope so. But yeah, as Big Disc Energy pointed out, Paramount transfers are usually pretty good. So,
I mean, they're about 50-50. I think I would say
that's not a good percentage.
No, it wasn't. I will say they have been on an upswing over the last like 9 or 10 months. Their stuff has been improving. But the big thing, Brian here says the 4K has been playing in the cinemas recently, and he heard from a friend that it was an amazing restoration.
Okay.
So
well,
I am hopeful.
I'm going to stay positive.
Yeah, this is a big deal. This is a big title, obviously. Stan says it's a stone cold classic. Nick Amides, Two Jakes broke my heart. I was there opening night, then Arby's.
I was the first time I saw Chinatown, I was like, wow, what's this mystery going to be? And then when the mystery is resolved, I was like, what the?
Whoa.
and then I was like, I guess this is a metaphor for America? I don't know. But it's pretty great.
Oh man, that is a really funny reaction. Right after this, it was the first of the month. Like I said, it was April 1st. So of course we jump straight into OCN announcements. The first being the title that Will just mentioned, Cynthia Rothrock's Lady Reporter is a part of the Vinegar Syndrome slate for this month. This is coming with a newly restored by Vinegar Syndrome master on this. Includes the 88-minute Hong Kong theatrical version in Cantonese with English subs and the 90-minute English language export version. There is a new commentary with Frank Jiang on the Hong Kong version, which is different than the commentary that's on the Eureka version. Frank, did you not know that?
He did two different.
Frank does the same film commentaries for multiple companies all the time and never allows repeated commentaries.
Wow.
He sets out to do a brand new one every single time.
Impressive. Okay, so, but to be clear, I'm not, I think I'm suggesting people get both because, all right, so they have the same restoration, right?
No, Vinegar Syndrome is doing different restorations. There's screenshots that show that they do look a little bit different already.
Okay, so different restoration, but the Eureka has 3 commentaries, including the original Frank Jiang with Vincent Lin, and there's a Mang Hoi interview. So this is a situation where double dipping actually results in completely different experiences.
If you love Cynthia Rothrock or this movie, this is one that you might want to get both because the special features are fully different.
Well, now it looks like the same Cynthia Rothrock interview though.
They're both 14 minutes? I thought that was different too.
Shit, I don't know. Maybe it's different. Wow.
Either way, it's a lot.
Maybe it's different.
There's a lot of Rothrocking happening lately.
I'm telling you, it's a Rothrockessance. In these, and I mean, if you're my age, your adolescence was spent, if you had cable, your adolescence was spent, pretty much thinking that Cynthia Rothrock was the biggest martial art star in the world. Because like if you're watching late night Cinemax or Showtime, it's like just Rothrock after Rothrock. It's amazing. Anyway, I thought Lady Reporter was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
That is a rousing endorsement from Will. I will say a lot of people pointing out that they don't love this cover. The big thing for me is a lot of the Vinegar Syndrome stuff has been done by the same artist lately, and they all just look the same. They're leaning into the same coloring. They're leaning into the same character drawing. All of it just feels like it's repeating itself over and over again. Anyways, if you love Cynthia Rothrock, you might want to get both the Eureka and the VS of Lady Reporter.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I got room for that. Well, I'm automatically getting it because it's in the subscription. So
there you go. This next one, we are getting a Blu-ray of The House Where Death Lives from 1981. This is the one that they were teasing with this promo picture of the skull in the arch. This one is also called Delusion. I think more people know this one as Delusion rather than The House Where Death Lives. This is from 1981. This is newly scanned and restored in 4K from the OCN. Commentary track on this with the Hysteria Continues podcast. Interview with the actor John Dukakis. Interview with actor David Hayward. And then Stephen Thrower speaks on this one for 25 minutes. Pretty solid looking release in the sub. Have you seen this one?
Joey C., my man Joe Cotton. Bringing the gravitas. This had to be one of his last movies, right? Maybe the last one. I don't know.
81, around there.
So no, I haven't seen it. This has been on my to-see list for a long time. If Stephen Thrower's got some words for it, I've got some room.
I kind of figured that was coming. Next up, as part of the Vinegar Syndrome slate, this is also coming as part of the subscription for all these subscribers. Witch Story coming on 4K. This is from 1989. This is a 2-disc set, 4K and Blu-ray. You've got HDR on this, and it is coming with a commentary track with Troy Howarth, Nathaniel Thompson, and Eugenio Ercolani. Interview with the director, Alessandro Capone. Interview with the producer, Giuseppe Perisoli. Interview with the cinematographer Roberto Girometti, and British actors in Italian horror. There's a 17-minute video essay by Mike Foster. And then we've got some archival stuff. There's a 44-minute archival making of documentary, some raw audition footage, an image gallery. Looks like a pretty chock full release of this one. Though I got to admit, did not see many great reviews of this one. Have you seen this one?
No, I mean, I'm always up for a good, witch story. So I'm looking forward to checking it out. I never believe reviews.
I get that.
I never believe anybody about anything anymore. I've been fucked over so much in my life. Like, you can't believe your boss. You can't believe your employer. You can't believe your friends. You can't believe your family. You can't believe anything anybody says. So why am I going to believe some internet review? I
still can't believe you argued with me for 12 minutes that you look decent tonight.
No. Who said that?
You.
What about it?
You argued with me for 12 minutes after I said you look decent.
I didn't believe you.
That was the joke, Will. Come on. All right, continuing on down the line. Wow, they reinstated this. I'm shocked. They pulled this, and I had to repost it again. So I guess I can pull the repost.
Can you show it on YouTube?
I guess so. Here we are. I'll show the back just in case.
Just say it's a crevasse.
Oh, the back is awful. So we're getting Kinski's Paganini from 1989. This is the sole directorial effort from Klaus Kinski, newly restored in 2K from its 35mm OCN. This one, my gosh, new commentary track with Eugene Ericolani and Troy Howarth, audio interview with the actress Deborah Caprioglio. That's wrong. Interview with the music consultant and violinist Salvatore Accardo. Interview with the sound man. Interview with the unit manager. Interview with the film historian and Eugenio Ercolani. We've got a 95-minute English language director's cut sourced from tape on this. We've got some press conferences from Cannes. We've got behind-the-scenes footage that's almost an hour long. There is a lot of stuff on this disc. We have talked about Kinski a lot behind the scenes recently. How do you feel about Kinski and this one?
Is this a trick question? You're trying to get me canceled tonight.
Maybe.
Kinski was a troubled man who did some unforgivable things. He was a very talented actor and gave some wonderfully nuanced and eccentric performances.
I'm loving all these comments. I've not seen this one. Have you seen this one? I feel like you have.
I think I've only seen clips of it, which is something I really hate when my students say. Like I say, hey, has anybody seen this movie? They're like, and they'll say yes, and then they say, well, I saw clips.
Right.
I'm like, well, you didn't even see it. So I'm going to say no. But it's definitely been something I've read a lot about. I read Kinski's autobiography and, of course, all things Werner Herzog. So this was, I picked this up. This was one of a couple titles that I picked up on announcement day.
Well, the big thing, and I don't want to harp too much on this because it's stuff that people have talked about for quite some time, but this is coming as not a part of the subscription, but this is a part of the Vinegar Syndrome Labs line, which is one of their sub-labels, and it says they are hoping to expand and defy expectations with the diversity of films that they restore and release. This is a testing area for releasing genres and eras of film that one might not immediately expect to come from VS. This feels like a quintessential Vinegar Syndrome title. How is this not a part of the subscription? Like, I don't want to lean too much into it or be too much of a complainer about it, but this feels just like let's sell this on the side so that subscribers don't get it and we can charge more money. Any thoughts?
I'm totally naive about the business side of things. I always wish everything would be part of this subscription just because that would be easier on my pocketbook. I don't know. I mean, how many VSLs have been released? Like 4 or 5?
Something like that, yeah.
and most of them have been like older, like B-movie type titles. Am I remembering correctly?
They've been all over the place. They started with a couple old like 40s and 50s titles, but
That's what I'm thinking about.
But that's not where they all went. They've started just kind of throwing other random titles that normally would have been VS titles.
Well, I don't know. I guess we'll have to give it a few more releases to see if they truly are living up to their ambitions. I don't know, and I don't know if the cover art certainly and the trailer make it look like it certainly belongs in the Vinegar Syndrome catalog. So, but I don't know. I there's so many different sub labels now. I can't tell what's what.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I fully agree with it. It's really hard, and you should imagine, like, if you're gonna have sub labels, I should be able to hear the title or what's it about and guess what sub label it's going to be on.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because there's a reason for it to be there. But this is Klaus Kinski in 1989. This isn't from an era that doesn't make sense for VS. This doesn't seem like something that's out of the realm of normal VS titles. This just seems like a VS title.
Mm. Well, I'll let you know next month what I think of it.
All right. Next, this is one that so far has a pretty solid identity, I would say. The next cinematograph title is a Blu-ray of Paul Schrader's Touch from 1997. We got some massive names in this one. Christopher Walken, Skeet Ulrich, Bridget Fonda, Tom Arnold. That was the massive name.
Tom Arnold making his cinematograph debut.
Gina Gershon's in this, and the man LL Cool J as well. But the cool thing, like, this is going to be the standard cinematograph type title, media book in one of these hard cases, all that fancy stuff that they do. But they got a new video interview with Paul Schrader himself, new audio commentary with Howard S. Berger and Steve Mitchell on this, new video essay by Daniel Kramer. There's essays by Chris Cabin and Bill Jabiri. And then filmmaker and writer Cosmo Bjorkenheim also did an essay for this one as well. Schrader getting a lot of love recently.
Well, now I'm confused because Patty Hearst is VS. So why is Touch cinematograph? No, I think this was a welcome and a surprise announcement for me. It fills a gap in my Paul Schrader both collection and viewing, because I haven't seen Touch. So that was another title that I picked up on day one.
Nice. Wow.
Oh, hey, since Skeet Ulrich got mentioned, I got to say this. So most of the cast of the original Scream are going to be at GalaxyCon this summer. Which is in Raleigh. Well, it's all over the place, but the one near me is in Raleigh. And so Nev Campbell and Skeet Ulrich and Jamie Kennedy and Matthew Lillard are going to be there. And I was looking up prices for what you have to pay to, like, take a picture with them. And wouldn't you know it, Lillard and Ulrich are charging more than Nev. but Nev, you do have to pay a little bit more for Nev than you do for Jamie Kennedy.
I'm not shocked there.
It's $10 cheaper for Jamie.
That right there is my problem with cons nowadays, is everything is just so damn expensive, on top of paying to get in the door. And then you have to pay for a picture, you got to pay for an autograph, pay for everything.
Yeah, if you want to get your picture taken with Linda Hamilton, it's like $170 or something like that.
Jesus. And that's for a cell phone picture. That's like for a selfie, not a pro photo op. That's the crazy thing.
Oh wow, I don't know. I've never really done cons. I don't know how that stuff works, but I'd like to. They're crowded.
They are very crowded.
That's my problem.
Moving on to the next, there is the next VS Publishing comic available. You can get Maniac 2 Roadkill. This is
Nice.
a wild looking set. I hope some people are checking these out and loving these. It looks pretty great. It says this box set contains freshly minted and rebranded editions of each issue with new pages, colors, and graphic design, including the never before published issue number 4, more than a year in the making. You're going to get with this 2 11x17 posters not available in any other edition, and a bunch of bookmarks, trading cards, newsletters, and art prints. Some cool art.
Yeah. Something for the kids.
Going to the next one, a bunch of new merch dropped on the site. The first is they did one of their DeGosser videos, the limited LED deluxe VHS things for Blonde Death. You can see what that looks like there. That lights up. Then they also did a VS Catacombs art print. And if you like that design, you can get a VS Catacombs shirt and then a Pebble Gray variant as well.
Okay, no genitals on these.
Nope. This is something you can wear in front of the kids, it seems like.
Well, I don't know if depends on how young the kids are, I guess. That is nightmare inducing.
I guess. Then we got into some partner labels. Let's get into it. First, Film Movement is putting out All About Lily Choo Choo from 2001. And I believe this is just a repress of a previous title they did with a slipcover, and I think that's it. It does say there's a new essay by Stephen Kremen, who's the deputy director of the NYA Film Festival. Not sure if that's actually new or if it's like new from their release and it's carried over. Anyways, because sometimes that verbiage can mean that. But chow, that's what I meant. Sorry, Simner, come on.
Did you say choo choo?
I did. I was reading quickly.
It didn't even register.
I'm still in training. Oh man, that was awful. This one though, lots of praise on this one. And Film Movement, one thing I really wanted to say, one of the big things that is cool about them becoming a partner label is their titles are generally pretty great titles, and they've historically been pretty expensive, although they do sales fairly often. But even then, they're pretty pricey to get. But this, like, if you're a subscriber and you can get the discount already, this is a pretty damn good price. So this is one that if you're super into some of these Film Movement titles, you got this at a decent rate, not too bad. This says, for kids around the world, music is often the only salvation when the pain and anxiety of teenage life becomes too much to bear. Yuichi is in the 8th grade and he worships Lily. I'm not even going to say the last name. A Bjork-like chanteuse, I don't know how to say that word, whose epic music is lush and transcendent. Yuichi only lives for Lily's big Tokyo concert where the lies and violence can be washed away by the presence of his goddess and her powerful music. But fate has yet another obstacle in store for Lily's devoted fan.
The chanteuse.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Oh.
Good looking release.
Yeah.
Going to the next one. Daniel Isn't Real. This is coming from Yellow Veil Pictures. This is a title from 2019. And the big draw on this is Patrick Schwarzenegger was in this. Arrow put this out a couple of years ago in the UK. And I got that release. Have you seen this movie yet?
Patrick, was that the guy in the Gen V show?
I know he did some show.
Real sad about that young actor dying.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Daniel Isn't Real. I watched the trailer, and it looked like it could go either way for me. So I'll probably check this out on streaming first.
I will say this movie has a lot of really great ideas, and it falls flat on some of them. I don't think the movie works as a whole, but there's some really good stuff in it. And the acting, honestly, for a fairly low budget, like thriller type movie, it's pretty good.
Dallas Jones likes it.
Dallas says Daniel isn't real as awesome. Major Elm Street vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Elm Street vibes. I did not get that the first time. But yeah, this movie's pretty good. Got some decent scenes in it. I don't think
that tagline pretty much sums up my philosophy.
For those listening later, it says the mind will do anything to avoid confronting just how alone it is in the universe.
Sounds like I need to check it out then. Ironically, this means I'm not alone.
Maybe.
Somebody else feels alone in the exact same way.
Well, it could just be a simulation.
I had a friend once.
Just once?
And she said something. She said something that I thought was very wise. In being frustrated around other people, she said, I just want to go somewhere where I can hate everyone from a distance. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And you know that German novel Perfume?
No, I don't.
They did a film version of it.
I've heard it stinks.
Well, anyway, so Perfume is about this child of squalid origins who grows up abused and unloved, but he has an incredible gift of olfactory power, and he finds that he can make the most exquisite perfumes, and the best ones have essential oils from recently murdered people, and so he becomes a mass murderer and everything. And there's some other stuff in there too, but there's a scene in the book. Well, it's a section, I guess, where he kind of comes of age and murders his foster parent, and he goes into the wilderness, and he finds this cave, and he goes into the cave, and he finds that there's a spot in the cave where he can sit perfectly still, and on one side he can just barely turn his head, and there's a steady drip of water, and he can turn his head the other way, and there's a replenishing edible lichen on the rocks, so he can gain sustenance. And he sits there perfectly still in the silent darkness alone for like 9 years. And part of what this is supposed to convey is the like absolute inhumanity of this person, right? This guy is bad news. But when I read it, I was like, God, that sounds great. I want to do that.
I love that was like the punchline we were leading up to. Dallas clarified what he meant. He says it has Elm Street 2 vibes, and then in parentheses, homoerotic dream demon. I just want to see a movie actually called Homoerotic Dream Demon now.
Okay, now I'm actually sold. That sounds great.
Dallas wants to know if you're stoned, Will.
No, but I will say this is what you get when I do not have fermented grape juice. This is what happens when Dr. Dodson is drinking water.
Oh, I love this. Next, Utopia is putting out Drift from 2022. This is starring Cynthia Erivo and Alia Shawkat, which that alone, it was enough to get me to be.
Say it like that every time.
Yes, I will. Jacqueline, a young refugee, lands alone and penniless on a Greek island where she tries first to survive and then to cope with her past. While gathering her strength, she begins a friendship with a rootless tour guide, and together they find the resilience to forge ahead. This one looks pretty good.
Yeah, and here I am whining and complaining about my problems. I'm sitting here in a perfectly air-conditioned room surrounded by, movies. And here's Jacqueline. Actual struggles. I watched the trailer of this, and it looked, looked like some standard stuff for trauma narratives like this. But what I could see of the performances looked pretty intriguing. I definitely want to see this.
Looks like a good one in my opinion.
Uh,
Next one is one that what you want to go back to the last one?
No, I really want to see this one.
This one looks amazing. Everybody's talking about this one. Canadian International Pictures putting out The Great Land of Small. If you recognize this illustrated face here on the front, that is the gentleman from Twin Peaks. This is from 1987, and it says, armed with a sack of gold dust and 5 magic spells, kind-hearted dwarf Fritz leaves his fantastical home to test the intentions of humans. Soon after his arrival, he crosses paths with Flanagan, a shady hunter who makes off with the magical gold and starts plotting evil deeds. After forging a friendship with siblings Jenny and David, Fritz takes them to the alternate dimension he calls home, the Great Land of Small. As the authorities search for the missing children, Jenny and David are wowed by a fantastical world of acrobats and a gold-spitting creature known as Slimo. But when the king and queen plot to make those kids their own, Fritz must risk his own well-being to get them home and stop Flanagan from wreaking magic havoc. That sounds wild.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know there was a sequel, Fritz X Leprechaun. It was kind of like one of those Jason versus Freddy things, King Kong Godzilla things. Kind of went the way of the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie, in that both are awesome and deserve rediscovery.
Well, the big thing, if you watch all of Reconnected over the last month or so, you might recognize New World Pictures podcast. Ryan was on an episode recently, and they are on this disc, the episode of the New World Pictures podcast covering The Great Land of Small is available here, which that's amazing. I am so stoked on that. Congrats to Ryan and the rest of the podcast. That's a big deal.
Good podcast. Worth a subscribe, people.
That's a good endorsement. The rest of this, we got new commentary with Nathaniel Thompson and Troy Howarth. Busy people. New interviews with stars from this film. New interview with the visual effects producer. We've got Blaze discussing the animation techniques used in the film. There's an episode of the classic public access TV show featuring Michael J. Anderson. There's also an archival interview with some people from the series, and so much more that, again, I could not type it all. It's wild how much is on this disc. Canadian International Pictures is one of like 3 labels that always, there's so much on their discs. You can't even hear everything that they're putting on there. There's also a booklet featuring an essay by film programmer Mark Lamoth. This looks like a winner for sure.
So I got to stop there because Stan said something that caused my heart to go flutter.
Stan knows the guy that played the Human Torch in the Final Four. Fantastic Four.
As far as I'm concerned, the only Fantastic Four movie. That's Jay Underwood, right? Isn't that Jay Underwood?
I've not thought about that one in a long time.
Am I right? I got to look it up now. He is. Oh my God, Stan. I'm the biggest Jay Underwood fan that ever lived. The Boy Who Could Fly. Are you kidding me? One of the greatest films in the history of cinema.
I love that you're starstruck because Stan mentioned him.
Dude, you don't understand. Jay Underwood, he should have been the Ryan Gosling of his era. Jay Underwood is he's got the pathos, man. Like he doesn't have to say a word, and like all the emotions of the world are in that face. Oh, he was the best. He was in some movie where he was a robot too. I can't remember the name of that one, but I love Jay Underwood. Oh, Stan, we're gonna have to talk. Okay, The Great Land of Small. That's a definite pickup. Love CIP. The movie looks crazy.
All the kid stuff they've been doing, it has been, they're great, just great what they're doing. But the big seller for this month, this thing sold out very fast.
WTF, man! I didn't even get a chance.
AGFA has put out, hey folks, it's the intermission time video party. This thing, the slipcover sold out in 2 hours, and the standard edition sold out in 5 hours. Just a heads up for everybody, this will be reprinted. This was not a limited title or anything like that. This will be back. But man, this flew off the virtual shelf. For those that don't know, this is a Something Weird compilation, and it says in the 1990s, Something Weird video gifted humankind with Hey Folks, It's Intermission Time, a series of 6 magical VHS compilations that preserved vintage movie and drive-in ads. Hey Folks, It's the Intermission Time video party is a loving tribute to those cathode tube-fueled days, featuring Hey Folks, It's the Intermission Time mixtape, an exclusive feature-length mixtape from the AGFA team, as well as all 6 volumes of the original uncut Something Weird VHS releases from the 90s. This 2-disc collection serves as a mind-altering time machine to a beloved era in home video history. 2 discs, both region-free, and we've got a lot on here. We've even got commentaries with Brett Berg and Joe Ziemba on the first disc there. We've got the original uncut Something Weird VHS compilations, like I said, and then on disc 2, transferred from the original Something Weird SVHS Masters. Hey folks, it's intermission time. You got 3 through 6. This is wild. It sold so fast.
Yeah, no FOMO here. This is YOMO. You missed out. I really would have liked to see this, but but you know what? Since this is impossible, I think we should spend this moment putting out vibes in the boutique Blu-ray universe that The Boy Who Could Fly, starring Jay Underwood and directed by Nick Castle, with Fred Gwynn and Fred Savage.
That's a lot of big names.
And Bonnie Bedelia. Bonnie Bedelia can be restored in high definition. You know, it'd be a great cinematograph title.
Who owns that? Do we know?
I don't know, man. Probably MG fucking M.
Oh, so Amazon will do it as a BDR?
What?
Amazon's been putting out burned discs of MGM titles because they own the MGM catalog.
Oh, I don't know if it's MGM or not. I just heard they're difficult to work with. So.
Everybody's talking about The Boy Who Could Fly now.
Good. I want that. Movie is, oh God, it's so. Oh. And Nick Castle's underrated as a director.
The intermission time AGFA release was a delightful surprise. Looking forward to the upgrade. Craig is pointing out the big thing. This thing has 718 minutes of content.
It's like 3 Killers of the Flowers Moon.
I love that you just snorted. Oh man, yeah, that's quite true. Speaking of Craig, why don't we talk about Kin Zat Za? Kin Zat Za is available from Def Crocodile this month from 1986. This is, of course, available on the VS site or direct on the Def Crocodile site. You can order it now. It's available. Get on it. This one, I'm going to read the synopsis, and then we're going to talk about this at full. Imagine Andrei Tarkovsky, Circa Solaris, directing Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and you'll come close to the existential weirdness of the wonderful, loopy, Soviet-era sci-fi comedy, Kin Zat Za. 2 average Muscovites, a plain-spoken construction foreman, and a Georgian student carrying a violin case encounter an odd homeless man on the street who asks, "Tell me the number of your planet in the Tentura." In a flash, they're teleported across the universe to the planet Pluk in the Kin Zat Za galaxy, a Tatooine-like desert world whose inhabitants are hilariously non-communicative. Their main words are "coup" for good and "Q" for very bad, and where common wooden matches are tremendously valuable. Tell us about Kin Zat Za, Will.
Well, for once, there's no exaggeration in the kind of tagline. It really, Tarkovsky directing The Hitchhiker's Guide is pretty accurate.
Quite apt, yeah.
It's a fantastic film. It's the director is Georgian, and this was made towards the end of Glasnost, as the Soviet Union was kind of beginning to break up right before the fall of the Soviet Union, and very satirical towards the kind of bureaucratic machinations of the Soviet censorship state. I don't want to say any more about the film because I want you to watch it and watch the special features, but it was really a revelation. And I don't mean to be like schmaltzy, but I want to thank Craig and Dennis at Deaf Crocodile for having us on there, because up until this point we had only done genre films, and it was really cool of them to take a chance and trust us to produce something for, a different kind of film, one that's, more art
highbrow.
Yeah, highbrow, I guess. I love this film. Really proud of the visual essay we did. I managed to get an interview with David A. Cook, who is an expert on Eastern European and former Soviet satellite state cinema. Well, really, he's an expert on film history all over the world. So it's great, and the Walter Chaw commentary. I don't know. Is it? You sure it's not Chew?
I am sure on this one, yes.
Walter Chaw. The print is too small for me, but I'm interested in learning more about the film. So, yeah.
So on this disc, in case that was not enough to sell you, new restoration from the OCN and sound elements by Mosfilm, new hour-long video interview with the lead actor about the making of this and the contributions of his father, who is a co-writer, and that is moderated by Dennis from Deaf Crocodile. New video interview about Kinzadza and the rich history of Soviet science fiction cinema with comics artist Stephen R. Bissett. That's really damn cool. New commentary by film critic Walt Cha, like we said. New written essay by Justin Humphreys. And then, as Will alluded to, he and I have a visual essay on this called Got a Match on Vodka and Vinegar at the End of History. And to back up what Will said, I got to be honest, I think this is the visual essay that we've done that I'm by far the most proud of. I think that there's a lot of really great information here, and we built some humor into it.
I don't want to say by far.
I will. At least the ones that have been announced. And the big thing, there's like no way to explain how wild the history of this movie is. Like you're seeing right here in the back of the slipcover a frickin' Ferris wheel in the middle of a desert. So they built a Ferris wheel in Russia and then shipped it hundreds of miles away to put it back together in the middle of the desert to film this. They did that with all kinds of stuff. They had all kinds of scenery built for this that looks like, the closest thing to say is steampunk, but it's not even really steampunk. It's such a weird, like, apocalyptic sci-fi just oddity. This is one of those movies that I genuinely is a masterpiece, and I think that finally, now that it's got a real English language release, this is going to go like in the pantheon of big deal releases for people that like especially Eastern European sci-fi stuff. This is going to be up there with like On the Silver Globe and those types of releases, in my opinion. This movie is a genuine masterpiece.
Cool. Yeah, it's been on like lists of like best movie you've never heard of for Western audiences for forever. It was highly regarded when it came out, in its home country, but yeah.
This is a big one. Next up, another one that has sold pretty dang quickly. Saturn's Core is putting out Mom and Pop, the indie video store boom of the 80s and 90s. And it seems like almost every single partner label has put out a documentary on home video stores at this point, or on the history of physical media or something like that. But this one is a big one because it's been made pretty recently. This is a 2023 film, and Mark from Orbit DVD is featured in this documentary. They speak to him. He's on camera. Quite a few names that you might recognize. Joel D. Wincoop, who was mentioned earlier, is in this, I believe. Lloyd Kaufman, Tim Ritter, a few others. This has an audio commentary with the director, bonus interviews with some people that did not make the documentary, extended interviews, behind the scenes still gallery, the Creature Preachers music video, and a few more things on this disc. Looks like a fun release, though.
Man, I miss before Blockbuster, because it used to be, you'd go in, it'd always be like in a kind of interesting part of town, like some concrete building, walk in, the clerk's like smoking a cigarette, watching, something inappropriate on black and white TV, and there's no organization. See, like Blood Orgy, the She Devils, and like Clean and Sober next to each other.
Right.
And, what a great way to learn about movies,
Dallas says the chick on the cover looks like 90s Lisa Loeb. A little bit.
Oh, man. Hey, you could do worse than 90s Lisa Loeb, my friend.
It's a good point. I also love the perfect synchronicity of, we have Ghoulies 2 animated on this, and we're going to talk about Ghoulies 2 tonight.
Can't wait.
All right. Coming up.
That's like Lisa Loeb, Daria, and Janine Garofalo all mixed together, which would be my perfect woman.
And it would sell like 14 copies on MTV for some reason, even though it's the perfect demographic. Next up is another pretty big one. Again, really great month for partner labels. Bleeding Skull putting out The Other Dimension and the films of Fabio Salerno. This is big. Closing the gap between dreams and reality. Fabio Salerno's films are the missing link between Dario Argento and George and Mike Kuchar. What are we laughing at now?
That's a funny comparison.
It sure is. The Other Dimension in the films of Fabio Salerno is a 2-disc set that presents the late Salerno's complete filmography for the first time in North America. From the accomplished anthology The Other Dimension to the fan favorite short Arpy, these DIY art house horror films from Italy are true discoveries for adventurous horror heads. We have a 441 minute combined 2 discs here. These are going to have English subtitles. You've got a bunch of shorts, a bunch of features. This was released in Europe, I believe, but it did not have all of the shorts. So this is a comprehensive, giant release of this one. Have you seen anything from Fabio?
No, but I'm certainly interested in doing so now.
Bleeding Skull, brand new, relatively partner label, and they have put out some pretty big things so far. It's been a big year for them.
Not everything's sold out before I can get it, though.
A Blonde Death went pretty damn quick that first month. All right, next one, another big one. Enjoy the Ride, which we've all talked about in the past, and multiple areas of the spectrum on how we feel about them. Out in the Ring is their next title. This is from 2022, and this is a documentary that explores the rise and history of LGBTQ plus professional wrestlers and representation in the sport. This is going to be a Region A locked Blu-ray. It's got a trailer, exclusive clips and outtakes, a commentary track with the director and the editor as well. And this one, I got to admit, looks pretty damn good.
Yeah. Always, I don't really like wrestling, but I like wrestling documentaries.
Especially one like this. Yeah, completely agree. Next up, Quantum Cowboys. This is coming from Factory 25. This is a 2022 film. And this one, the big thing is number one headline on this is starring Lily Gladstone.
She didn't get an Oscar for this one either.
I don't know why. Not entirely sure. But I got to admit, I know a few people that have seen this, and I I was unfortunately a little saddened to hear what they thought of it. Basically, that it's pretty dreadful. I wanted to love this, and I still plan on watching this. Looks interesting, but man, look at the stills for this before you purchase it. Just an FYI, check out the way that it's filmed. It is a very unique looking movie, and
Well, it's like that Linklater movie
yep,
with the all the different animation styles, right?
you are right. Yeah, looks just like that.
What movie was that? I tell you, man, the alcohol, it rots your brain. My memory used to be like that was the main thing that I had going for me is I could remember all this stuff. A Scanner Darkly, and now I've just pickled. I'm pickled, man. I've been pickled.
Waking Life is the one I was thinking of.
Oh, I was thinking of Scanner Darkly. Well, anyway,
You're pickled.
I'm pickled.
Oh man,
I kind of want to see this in part because of all the. I really like Ho Gelb, you know the giant sand.
yep.
He's in it, and Nico
David
Case.
Arquette. David Arquette,
Yeah,
Nico Case.
Nico Case, John Doe. You know, some real rock royalty in this film. Yeah.
Oh man. Let's go to the next one. Next is go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna talk about Quantum Lovers.
Do it. Go ahead.
Well, it's just all philosophical and stuff about the nature of memory. And
That's why we're here, to help you.
Yeah, which is ironic that I'm here like forgetting everything all of a sudden. Maybe I'm part of the movie. But yeah, you know, I like pretentious stuff like that. You know, like when they're going for it. And I'll probably watch it and be like, that's stupid. But then I'll have like a couple of like earwigs that stick with me. So I'm looking forward to watching this at some point.
I agree. I definitely want to see it. Next is the Film Desk putting out The Spirit of 45, a film by Ken Loach.
You know, it'd be cool.
That's a weird thing to say after I say The Spirit of 45, but go ahead.
If Scott Bakula had been in it. That's if I'd been making the movie, that would have been like my number one ask. I'd be like, can we get Bakula? Anyway, Ken Loach, man. Yeah, this was another first day pickup for me. Let's talk about it.
Let's do it. So this one says a powerful, unabashedly pro-socialist documentary of England's post-war transformation from a working-class hellscape in the 30s. Endemic poverty and Dickensian squalor are upended by Clement Attlee's 1945 Labour Party landslide over the patrician Winston Churchill. What follows is the nationalization of the mines, railways, postal service, and the jewel in the crown, the National Health Service, which made medical care free of charge. This is going to have a 24-page booklet, including a new essay by Sukhdev Sandhu, a vintage interview with Ken Loach by Gavin Smith, a transcription of Ken Loach and Nigel Lawson's debate on BBC's Newsnight from 2009, and then a new trailer by Zach Clark. But that is it. This is pretty much just the doc on this one.
Are we allowed to talk about it?
Go right ahead, yeah.
No, I mean, for anybody who's kind of following what's been happening in the UK over the last 10 years with Brexit and the sort of deliberate undercutting of the national healthcare system by politicians, this will give you a lot of historical context for how things got set up in the first place, how they used to be. And Ken Loach, love him or hate him, has a real earnestness and commitment to progressive politics. And if that's a value you share, then you'll find a kindred spirit. And if it's a value you don't share, then you'll find somebody that you can kind of argue with, and that's worthwhile as well. How was that? Was that even-handed enough?
That was almost too even-handed, and it was
I
great.
mean, I'm obviously pro Loach. We agree on almost everything, but
okay, a little too political, Will. Let's back up. Next up is coming from Umbrella, The Tunnel, and The Tunnel, The Other Side of Darkness. This is from 2011. It is a found footage film that Umbrella just released in Australia fairly recently. This has the full feature-length behind-the-scenes doc. That is what The Tunnel, The Other Side of Darkness is. It's not a sequel. It's a documentary attached to it. The Tunnel is pretty great. I've got the original Blu-ray that was released from the director itself. Really, if you like found footage, I think you'll probably like this one. It's pretty well made. There's a couple... There's not really a better word to use. This does sound a little too mean for this movie. There's a couple annoying scenes, but it's found footage. That seems to be the case about most found footage films. There's one or two where you go, this didn't really need to happen. Yeah. How do you? I don't think you and I have ever talked about found footage. How do you feel about found footage?
It's really hard to do well.
We just talked about Dashcam. That one's found footage, right?
Yeah, and as you were saying that, I was thinking, there are definitely a couple spots where I'm like, that doesn't quite, why are they still holding the camera? But they do a pretty good job in that one of like, you need the camera for the light. But anyway, we're not talking about Dashcam. I've never seen The Tunnel. I've heard nothing but good things about it. So this is
I recommend it. Yeah, Umbrella has been doing pretty dang good with what they're putting out. Obviously, they are doing a lot in the Aussie side of things.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Nope.
I just got a shipping confirmation from Umbrella yesterday. I'm pretty stoked.
What are you getting?
Chaser.
Ooh,
Chaser's finally on the way. Also, like an idiot, I got the whole shebang for the Dead End Drive-In.
That movie is amazing, though.
And also their release of Coffee, which includes a high definition upgrade of the great documentary Badass. So that having that as a special feature made me want to get it. Plus, I think my copy of Coffee is the olive release and doesn't have much on it. Or I could be wrong. Maybe I'll have two coffees. I don't know.
I think I've got I think Arrow did it in the UK. Is that right?
I don't have
years ago at this point. I
don't have that.
16. I think that's the one that I still have. Yeah, they've got a lot of neat stuff. The month before the one Will is talking about, that is starting to show up at retailers in the States now. So like Bully is available at Orbit. That's one that I'm looking forward to. Something about all the titles that they've been doing recently, they're just super appealing. I totally get it. One thing to keep in mind, though, unless it's the Aussie stuff, they usually don't have brand new restorations. So make sure you're paying attention to the extras and all that. It's probably not much of an upgrade for other things, unless it's a format upgrade. And obviously, if you want that giant Super Mario Brothers release, make sure you get that pre-order in soon because they reopened it.
That's amazing. I can only think of one movie that is getting a more ridiculous package of special features that we can't talk about yet.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But I gotta admit, it's not quite as thick as the Umbrella release. That's for sure.
Phrasing.
Yes. The last thing is Vinegar Syndrome did one of their yearly April Fool's things. This is what they have done 3 years running now. The first year it was I can't remember if it was $10 the first year, but it was for the extra special slipcover for Invisible Maniac. Then last year they did a $10 April Fool's, and that one was for their Fatal Games extra slipcover. That's right, Sibner. Thank you. That first year was only $6. Last year was $10, and it was just a bonus slipcover. But this year was $24. So there's been lots of conversation with a lot of people saying, I was in at 10 to take the gamble, but 24 is too rich for my blood,
So
no matter what it is.
So you don't know what it is?
No, of course not.
So you can actually, so you actually pay the money. So what happened if you paid the money for the Invisible Maniac slipcover? Because I thought that was a funny joke. But
you didn't know you were paying for the Invisible Maniac slipcover. It was just a random thing, and they called it an April Fool's Day donation. But if you gave that donation when Black Friday rolled around, you got the slipcover in the mail.
Oh, a real slipcover.
Yes, and they did that last year as well with Fatal Games.
Okay, so you do get something.
Yes.
Okay.
The funny thing is, I'm willing to bet for $24. This is clearly more than a slipcover. I don't. I've seen people say it's going to be a box for the Lost Picture Show. No, it's not. They're not going to give you a box for a title from last year. No, of course not. I have a feeling it's probably an actual film that will not be available anywhere else. It will probably only be available if you donated to this.
Oh my God! If it's The Boy Who Could Fly, I will lose my mind.
I was talking to Oscar this last week. I'm going to text him and say, Oscar, can you get The Boy Who Could Fly?
Oh, I would go crazy. I will. I definitely want to do an extra for that. Humboldt Horror Honey is going off to watch Mute Witness. That's a good reason to leave. I enjoy. Have you seen it before? She's already gone.
Probably already gone. Yes, and this whole Oscar votes thing, this was only available on April Fool's Day, so you don't even have a chance to order it anymore. This is all in the past.
Man.
Yeah, but that wasn't it. They also had stuff listed over at Melusine. The first Intimate Lessons. This is coming from the Quality X line. Kind of odd cover art. These are getting very samey too over at Melusine. I think they're using the same artist for all of these. This one says Sir Aubrey Coxworth and Lady Amanda host weekend getaways for erotic self-discovery at their spacious country estate. This time they've invited over a group of highly inhibited guests with whom they intend to share their vast and unusual sexual knowledge. It's not long before this eager class of would-be deviates are ready to surrender to their deeply buried, perverted desires, all under the watchful instruction of the Lord and Lady of the house, as well as their lecherous chauffeur and hunchbacked servant, Boris. This one, starring Kay Parker, and we've got it newly scanned, restored in 4K from the OCN. We got a trailer on here, but that's it. Just a trailer on this release.
I don't know. I'm always like dubious when people claim to have some kind of sexual knowledge. I'm like, there's not much to know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of nuance. I guess that's what they're saying. like how to do things well, I guess. I don't know. When I watch these movies, because this was an era, most of the time they ain't even, I don't know.
I love watching the mental gymnastics in your mind right there.
Well, I'm just trying to decide what I should say. But I mean, this was an era where there was a lot of they had to utilize a lot of stunt cock. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's all coked out and at half mast most of the time.
The Adventures of Harvey Stuntcock.
I don't know what kind of sexual knowledge these guys have.
That wasn't the only Melusine title. They also are releasing Midnight Desires. This one starring Jamie Gillis, big name for the VS slate. We also have Vanessa Del Rio in this one. This is newly scanned and restored in 2K from a 35mm answer print. This one also has an audio commentary with Sean Costello, who is the director of the film, moderated by Joe Rubin himself from Vinegar Syndrome. There's also an image gallery on this one. But yeah, Quality X have put out some, pardon the pun, but quality titles.
No 4K, I'm out.
I've gotten that comment so many times in the last week.
Speaking of being out, our 1133 says a lot of straight guys think that. Yeah, I bet they do.
Oh, that was a good response, Will. Going to the next one, which I believe we are finally done with OCN, and going to a shell of its former self. Let's head over to Shout Factory. So June 11th.
I thought they had a good. Oh, anyway.
June 11th, they're releasing Digimon Adventure 2, The Beginning, on Blu-ray. Don't know much about this. Again, introduction by the director. Then on June 25th, they are teaming up with G-Kids for another release. This one of the first Slam Dunk on Blu-ray.
That's the straight guy's sexual knowledge. It's like, guys, I got my first Slam Dunk. She loved it. She totally loved it.
This is supposed to be pretty good. This has an interview with the director behind the starting lineup, English dub featurette, color commentary with the English dub team. Sounds like a release.
The first Slam Dunk.
We'll come back to Shout because they forgot how to do announcements. So we got a couple other things to talk about before we find out the rest of their slate. First, I did indicate that there was a new interview on the channel with James Flower from Arrow this week. Give it a watch. I will lean heavily into this one because he gets pretty candid about a lot of the Arrow stuff from the last couple of years. We talk about the failure of the Bruce Lee set coming damaged to everybody. We talk about the Hut Group purchase. We talk about the titles that they have been, acquiring that people are upset about because they're a little more mainstream than they're used to. We talk about everybody crying about Arrow releasing a title and then 4 months later releasing it on 4K, which has literally never happened. This is a big one. And with Arrow, we don't get to hear from Arrow very much. So I really recommend taking advantage of this one. Thanks for that, Nicomedes. Going to the next thing, stop motion, the one that I have had recommended many, many times over the last few months, which I still need to watch. I was going to try to watch it while we were out of town this last weekend, but we just ran out of time. RLJE is putting this out on Blu-ray on June 11th, and everything I hear about this is that this movie is incredible. I really, really can't wait to see this one. Yeah. I assume you haven't watched this one yet?
No, I've not heard of this.
It's supposed to be great. This one is like getting a lot of buzz of people's favorites horror over the last 6 months.
It's on Shudder. Okay,
it is on Shudder, yeah, or at least it was. It may not be anymore, but it was. Next, going back to Shout Factory, we are getting Species 2 on 4K. They say that final extras will be confirmed at a later date. It could mean that they're not putting anything new and it's just going to be the exact same thing. But Species 2, pretty decent sequel. I would say it's not terrible.
This is really where she shares her sexual knowledge.
This is true.
I remember seeing the first Species in the theater when it first came out. And for some reason, I can't remember much about the movie. I remember being underwhelmed, that being my experience. But I know a lot of people really like it. I might have to see it again. I feel like I've seen Species 2, but if I have, I can't remember a damn thing. Have you seen it? Is it good?
I saw it years ago. It's a okay sequel. It's not. It's not nearly as good as the first one. I don't love this franchise, I will say.
I like Natasha Henstridge.
Yeah, I do want to highlight what Sibner said. The big thing about this, it's not just a regular, hey, this has been available on Blu-ray for years and now it's going to be 4K. This was out of print. So this is actually coming back in print, going 4K. That's a bigger deal than normal. So I'm glad that's happening.
I mean, as far as homicidal sex aliens go, I'm Life Force. I'm all the way. Yeah, Life Force. That's going to be my number one always. But I'll check. I'll revisit the Species franchise. Why not?
Well, if you want to revisit a franchise, one that is getting a lot of attention, is RoboCop.
Oh,
And they're starting with the RoboCop remake from 2014, which this has a hell of a cast. You've got Abby Cornish, Jay Baruchel, Michael Kenneth Williams. You've got Jackie Earle Haley, Samuel L. Jackson, Gary Oldman, of course, Joel Kinnaman, Michael Keaton. I got to be honest, I saw this when it first came out. I feel like if this wasn't titled RoboCop, people would like this a lot more. Obviously, it's nothing like the original. I think it's pretty rough, but it's a lot better than people make it out to be. People talk about this being like one of the worst movies of all time. If it was called Robot Policeman, it'd probably get better reviews. Funny enough. Have you seen this one?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah. The funny thing is, this one they're completely honest about. They're not doing anything to put more features on this. They're just putting this out on 4K. It's just a standard upgrade from Blu-ray to 4K. Nothing crazy. It is going to have a slipcover if that's your bag for Scream Factory. If only they had called it Cyber Officer. The cop who can fly.
Well, that's RoboCop 3, and I'm hoping that's going to get Fred Decker's RoboCop 3. I hope that gets a 4K at some point. He does have a jetpack in that one. You know what else they should do since we're doing Robo things? Do you know Robo Chick? And it's like CHIC. I can't remember what it stands for. Cybernetic something or other.
No.
Robo Chick. A Wonder Man project might have been thinking of the same movie. As far as I know, it's languishing on VHS still. But Robo Chick is quite a cinematic experience, and I would love to see. Blu-ray's fine. We don't have to get crazy or anything. I really want to see Robo Chick get restored though. That'd be a good VSL.
Brian has it on Laserdisc from Hong Kong.
That's amazing.
I will also point out that Sibner is trying to correct you that it's Robo Chic.
That's chick, but she's a chick though.
Anyways, moving right along. Speaking of the RoboCop franchise, they're also putting RoboCop 2 out on 4K.
Yeah.
This one is interesting as well because they don't say anything about any new special features, and they are still doing their best to sell a crazy bundle with this. You can get 2 different slipcovers, 2 different posters, and a Prism sticker, or you can go all the way, and you can get not only those 2 posters, slipcovers, and the Prism sticker, but also a bumper sticker and a limited edition enamel pin set, and then a limited edition lobby card set. So, Will, we're going to do the same thing that we did last time. Tell me, this giant set from RoboCop 2 with the stickers, the art cards, the pins, and everything, how much do you think the jump is? Which, by the way, the one with 2 slipcovers and posters, that is $45. How much do you think the jump is to get the full bundle?
Well, Bob, $149.99.
You must have cheated. I mean,
I pre-ordered it.
Are you serious?
No.
Thank God. $150, Will. $150.
What do I win? Do I win the showcase?
$150.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even pay that for Killer Clowns.
For a bumper sticker, 5 pins, and some lobby cards. It's an extra $105.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I do really like RoboCop 2. I mean, Irvin Kershner's the best director of number 2s in series.
That's such a specific compliment.
It's true. Did Empire Strikes Back. But I really hope that we get RoboCop 3. Like, I can hardly think about RoboCop 2 because I so want RoboCop 3.
Oh, man.
It's like I've got to get through RoboCop 2 in order for D. Sibner, of all the mean things you've said to me tonight, you totally redeem yourself with that joke.
Oh man. Yeah, every time Will's on here, we seem to rip into, or I seem to rip into Shout Factory, but this is getting bad. Like,
You do.
for a copy of RoboCop 2 on 4K with pins, some lobby cards, a sticker, and a bumper sticker with 2 slipcovers, one of which you can't use because you already have one on the movie. Where else are you putting the other one?
Well, if you've learned anything from watching your Melusine films,
$150. That is absurd. Please don't buy it.
I want to respond to 2 things. Nicomedes is probably correct. I don't even actually like Empire Strikes Back. And Keith, the answer to your question is complicated. RoboCop 3, again, good and bad are really not the operative words. You know, RoboCop 3 is an experience, and in many ways it's a painful experience, because if you know Fred Decker and you see what's going on in RoboCop 3, and you think about what could have been if he'd been allowed to make the film the way he wanted to make it. Yeah. But it's fun. Yeah. I like RoboCop 3. It's fun.
What I really wanted to point out here, which is hilarious in hindsight, because I'm still going to go off on a small tangent. For one copy of RoboCop 2 on 4K with all these trinkets, this is more expensive than last year's Shelf Shock winning Bruce Lee at Golden Harvest 4K set was on release for one movie, and it's RoboCop 2 on 4K. That whole box set costs less than this bundle, Will.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I don't want to spoil anything for next year's Shelf Shock, but I don't anticipate this winning any award.
Oh, man. You know what's sad is somebody pointed out, and I didn't even realize at first, Shout wasn't nominated for anything in this year's Shelf Shock.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. Last year, at least, they were nominated for, I think, 1.
Well, I take no pleasure in it. You know, I want every company to make great releases and succeed, and I think Shout Factory, Scream Factory has done amazing work.
They've done great things. That Friday the 13th box set has been called like the miracle release. And you know what? It cost less on release than this whole bundle did of RoboCop 2 on 4K. Oh, man. Look at that.
I always keep it near me.
Well, let's carry on down the Shout Road. And next is just kind of a heads up. These were previously Walmart exclusives. The 4K Steelbook for Platoon and the Magnificent Seven. You can now pre-order these from the Shout website and from Amazon, and it'll probably be available everywhere as wide releases. But it's odd that they were exclusive, and now pretty much immediately they're not. So, yeah.
I just picked up the Magnificent 7 4K upgrade. Of course, not with this.
You didn't get the Steelbook?
No.
I get it.
I didn't know about it. I have some Steelbooks and they're fine. But I'm not like jonesing for them.
Right.
But this Platoon transfer is problematic, right?
It is. Yeah. It's basically the same thing that was out on Blue, put out on 4K, which is not great. Unfortunately, there's some definite issues in it for sure.
Is it waxy?
Unfortunately, it is for quite a bit. Yeah. Going to the last one from Shout, which is maybe the most exciting announcement of their month for me. Matinee from 1993, starring John Goodman, is getting a 4K upgrade. Now, the cool thing is this isn't just getting a spit it out again release where it's the exact same thing, just upgraded to 4K. They got Justin Beam's Reverend Entertainment to do some brand new extras for this, so there will be something new. For those that have never seen it, I really want everybody to understand this movie is fantastic. If you're a fan of 50 sci-fi, if you're a fan of John Goodman, this is one that you should have in your collection. This is a wonderful, wonderful movie.
Joe Dante and John Sayles. Oh yeah.
Well, some good comments on it too.
Yeah.
Spaghetti loves it. Def Crocodile says it's a fun flick. Good stuff. That's it for Shout. And next, a Shout title is getting a 4K upgrade. Kino Lorber is releasing April Fool's Day on 4K this October. A lot of people thought this was an actual April Fool's joke, but it was confirmed by Debbie Foreman herself. Kino went out and got a cameo from Debbie to announce it. This is coming with, I believe, a couple new features at least coming this October, and should be a pretty good-looking release. How do you feel about April Fool's Day?
Oh my God, dude! We should get a cameo.
Are you saying we should make an account or we should hire somebody?
Oh my God, though, you could get Dolph Lundgren to introduce the show. He's only like $500 or something.
Yes. So what do you think about April Fool's Day?
I'm not like, there are some people who are like obsessed with it, and I'm not one of those, but it's it's fun. I like it. I'll probably get this. It's not like in my top tier slasher films, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't love this movie. I think that it's a fun premise, and there's a couple scenes that are pretty good, but yeah, not a huge fan.
Michael Smith is like, sorry for the spoiler, but then spoils the entire fucking movie.
That's why I did not share it.
Well, it's still on there.
Yes, but not for everybody listening. Yeah, that's the biggest spoiler about the movie for sure. Next up, Air 4444. I think that was the right number of fours. They announced their first of 3 new releases coming. The Crazy Family from 1984. This is coming with a collector's edition new art slipcover. This is limited to 750. They also have this retro art, also limited to 750. There's a booklet with some stickers. You got a double-sided slipcover with new artwork, booklet with an essay by Amber Teagan with some photos, old ad artwork, 3 stickers, reversible artwork, and then on the special features, it is a director's approved remaster, feature-length audio commentary by Tom Mess, and then there's a director Sogo Ishii interview, and then a video essay by James Balmont. I was kind of surprised they didn't announce the other 2 immediately. We are still just waiting for those other 2. So, yeah. Any thoughts?
Oh. I think I'm like logged into this as you.
Because you're on StreamYard as the admin, you're commenting as me.
Oh, I wish I hadn't said that though. No, I'm just kidding. I was trying to tell Michael Smith that it was okay. We weren't mad.
I said the same thing.
We literally said the same thing like 8 times. This looks cool. Now, I guess we're going to be talking about this title again in a few minutes, aren't we?
So let's just jump right into it, because Third Window Films announced 3 of their Directors Company titles. They just did 3 of these. They're doing 3 more. The first one is Luminous Woman from 1987. This is coming on May 20th in the UK, and this is going to have some 50 minutes of deleted scenes, a 50-minute making of, 2K restoration on this one with a slipcover. You've got an insert by Jasper Sharp in this. And then also, like we just alluded to, they're also doing the Crazy Family, all the same extras. It'll be literally the exact same disc.
Exactly the same.
Literally exactly the same. Third Window and Error 4444 have been working together on some of their releases. They did it for like the what was it called? The Wicked Forest or the Weird Forest, whatever that one was. They did that, and then they're working together on this one as well.
Warped Forest?
Warped Forest. That's it. Well, it was Warped Forest and Funky Forest. That was the other one.
Funky Forest.
Yeah, so Third Window's putting out this disc, and then they also announced Love Hotel from 1985. This one is going to have an audio commentary by Jasper Sharp, a video essay by Josh Slater Williams. It's going to have some archival interviews and then a slipcover, and that looks to be about it, with an insert by Jasper Sharp on this one as well. Third Window doing some great work with these. All three of these releases sound really good. But I always love to see two boutiques working together on the same disc, because that means they're splitting the cost, and them splitting the cost helps all of us because they're spending less on their own release of it, and that keeps their cost down. But also announcing it on the same day in different regions, less people are going to be compelled to double dip that way. So yeah, win-win all around, and more Asian titles. I'm all about it.
Yeah. So cool. We can support Era 4444. We can support Third Window. All is good.
Have you seen any of those three titles?
No, these are all new to me. So as the commenters are saying, giggity, giggity. Apparently I made some quagmire movement with my neck. Oh, it must have been the Love Hotel.
Oh.
Nice.
Random. So yeah, that's pretty damn cool. I'm glad that we're getting these. Next is a fundraiser. If you have been watching the channel from the very beginning, one of my first two interviews was Lucky Cerruti. He's an indie horror director. He also runs Dead Vision Productions. They are doing a campaign for a movie called Box Cutter, and sounds great. It says, after a horrific accident, a family is plunged into an unimaginable nightmare where every choice made may cost them everything. And they've got some decent perks on their Indiegogo. I included the link there. Go check it out and support if you'd like. He does pretty great on his films. I've been a fan of his for a while, for sure.
Cool. Looks like a good family film.
Yeah, definitely does. Then we got an announcement from Warner Brothers that they are putting out Rocky 5 and Rocky Balboa on a 4K Steelbook standalone. The big thing is, as you'll see on this little sticker here, Rocky Balboa will include the theatrical version and a director's cut, both in 4K in this release. That is, I believe, a newer release of the director's cut that they were working on. I know that he had hinted at a Rocky 5 director's cut that he wanted to work on. This, I guess, confirms that they probably couldn't work that out. So either that, or they're going to have fans of Rocky quadruple dip here in the next couple of years.
The only thing, let's see, Rocky 5. I remember Stallone's great line delivery. You knock him out now, you see if you can knock me out. Because he's got brain damage or whatever.
I think I got like two of those words.
He says, okay, you knocked him out. Now see if you can knock me out. That's what he was saying.
Thanks for the translation.
Yeah. That's the one where they had that boxer who was famous for a little while. Tommy somebody.
Possibly.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to check out the Box Cutter campaign.
Let's go to our next one. Imaginary. Lionsgate is putting out Imaginary on Blu-ray on May 14th. We don't have any information about special features yet. I'm sure there'll be like one or two small things on this. But this is another one of those titles coming through Universal and Lionsgate for Blumhouse that's coming out on Blue. And a lot of people speculating this will probably come out on 4K in a year if this does okay.
It's all in your head.
Nice. I will say it is kind of like a weird catch-22 thing where they, hey, there's been a decent amount of Blu-ray sales. Maybe that means that people want it on 4K. And then you put out a 4K and people complain about that. It's hard because 4K is expensive. I get that. But I don't know. This is tough.
I didn't see it, so.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
From
Probably won't.
the trailer, it didn't look like it'd be for me.
It didn't even. It doesn't look scary at all. It looks pretty weak.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go to the next one. This one's pretty cool. VCI is releasing 4 Dick Tracy films from the RKO catalog on Blu-ray later this year. We got Dick Tracy from 1945, Dick Tracy versus Cue Ball from 46, Dick Tracy's Dilemma from 47, and Dick Tracy Meets Gruesome from 47 as well, including Boris Karloff in that last one.
He's gruesome, yeah.
These are pretty rad. I'm glad these are getting upgraded. I know a lot of people don't love VCI, me included, but I gotta admit they're improving a little bit over the last couple of years. They've put out some quality releases.
I mean, these are pretty cheap movies. You know, they're quickie.
Public domain, even, I think.
Yeah, and that's kind of part of their charm, I think.
Yeah. No idea release date or if we'll have anything with them. If these got actual restorations, I doubt there's going to be anything else with them. Going on. Ava DuVernay's Origin from last year was delayed, unfortunately. It was supposed to come out this month. Now it is coming on July 11th on Blu-ray from Neon and Decal. It will have a Dolby Atmos track and then a behind-the-scenes of Origin featurette. Decent movie, fairly divisive movie though. Definitely recommend people check it out and make a decision for yourself if you like it. I thought it was pretty good. Ava DuVernay I think is pretty damn talented. Great cast in this.
The release was delayed so long it was retitled Epilogue.
Oh, that was a good giggle, Will. Good giggle.
I have not seen this yet. I was supposed to go see it in the theater, and then didn't happen. And I cut myself. Oh well. And that is the origin of my sepsis. But so I'm still planning on checking this out. Yeah, I love DuVernay. She's an institution at this point.
I will say Anjanou Ellis-Taylor is great in this movie, for sure.
Cool.
Next up, the next Janus contemporary film is coming out. That is Orlando, My Political Biography. That's coming on June 25th on Blu-ray. This is going to have a Meet the Filmmakers interview with the director, and that is about it. Have not heard about this one until the announcement. Looks and sounds pretty decent. And then Janus Contemporaries, everything coming out when it's on sale is like $15. Hard to argue with that price. Grunts of approval.
Yeah, well, as the pull quotes there indicate, this is a film very much about gender identity and transness, and anytime you get a chance to spread visibility around and be a part of that conversation, it's great.
Indeed.
Trying to say things non-politically.
We can stop leaning into that. I'm totally fine with that. Next one is Chocolat from 1998. This is a Claire Denis film getting a brand new 4K restoration from BFI, coming on April 29th, just later this month.
Not the Johnny Depp, just to be clear. This is not the Johnny Depp. This is the Claire Denis film. Yeah.
I want to see people buy it and then be like confused by hour 2 of where's Johnny? This one is getting a few things on here. We got an audio commentary by Kate Renenbaum. Claire Denis apropos de Chocolat from 2023, 18-minute discussion about its new restoration. 49-minute conversation from 2019 with Claire Denis. There is a multi-layered autobiographical animation exploring memories of a childhood visit to Lagos, Nigeria. And then if you get that first pressing, there will be a booklet with new essays in it. BFI, again, one of those companies that they do some really great work, and highly recommend checking them out.
Absolutely. This is a must. Great movie.
Next up, Hidden City from 1987, coming from BFI on May 13th. This is getting a Blu-ray release. We don't have any extras announced for this one yet, but this one's got Charles Dance in it. It's a name from some old British films I know. That's all I got, though. I don't know anything else about this one.
I don't either. I've never seen this. This is looks tense. I'm gonna have to check this out.
Next one, Billy Connolly in Big Banana Feet from 1976, coming on May 20th from BFI in the UK as well. This one is going to have a booklet in that first pressing, and then they are announcing the extras later.
Cool. I like Billy Connolly.
Going to the next one, Floating Clouds is coming on May 13th. Yeah. Blue from BFI. I've heard about this one. This one's supposed to be great. This is from 1955. During the war in French Indochina, a married Japanese man falls in love with a young typist, Yukiko, and promises to marry her after the war. Upon their return to Tokyo, their idyllic relationship crumbles, but they cannot keep away from one another. Despite finding nothing but conflict and instability, they helplessly return to each other repeatedly as they attempt to rebuild their lives from the ruins of World War II. This is a classic of Japanese cinema, newly restored or presented in HD. New audio commentary by Adrian Martin on this one. Interview with Japanese film expert Frida Freeberg from 2007. We've got a couple other things, commentary on a scene, booklet in the first pressing, including Adrian Martin writing in that as well.
Great. This is a Neruda film that I do not have in my collection, so I will rectify that.
Perfect. Moving right along. We don't need to talk about that one because it got replaced. This one is really just a heads up. Big difference from Neruda to the Avengers. But the titles that we talked about before, the Mondo X Steelbooks, if you're into them, for the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, and Doctor Strange, you can now order these online from Walmart. A couple of them have sold out. When I had posted this, they may have all sold out by now, but they're also showing up in store. So check those out if you are into them.
No, thank you.
Radiance. So I got a lot to say about Radiance tonight. First title, July 29th in the UK, July 30th in the US. They're giving us a Blu-ray of 18 Years in Prison, the next film by Tai Kato that they're doing. This one is going to have an appreciation by Tony Raines, visual essay on Japanese prison films by Tom Mess. We got a limited edition booklet with some writing on it. This, again, looks like an absolutely brilliant release from Radiance.
Yeah, their whole slate looks pretty amazing.
Going to the next one. I'm not even going to attempt to say this title, Will. This is on you now. How am I saying this?
Chow Panton?
Okay, Chow Panton. It sounded very white. Coming on July 29th, again in the UK, July 30th in the US and Canada. This one is from 1983, 4K restoration. Once upon a time, there's a documentary on this, on the film feature with interviews with writer-director Claude Berry, novelist Elaine Page, some stars from the film, and that's almost an hour long. There's going to be more extras that they are working on currently, but that will be coming later. The next title, since Will is disappeared from the screen and bent over.
No, I'm here.
I know. Next is The Landlord.
According to the internet, Chow Panton.
Panta?
Panton.
Okay.
Chow Panton.
Hal Ashby's The Landlord from 1970. This is coming on Blue in the UK only, July 29th. This is one you probably recognize that cover. That poster is classic. Kino did put this out previously. 2K transfer done by Kino, so it's the exact same transfer. You've got some archival featurettes on here from 2019. New interview with Hal Ashby biographer Nick Dodson from this year. Interview with broadcaster and author Ellen E. Jones from this year. And then a booklet with new writing by Jordan Seals, an archival piece with Hal Ashby. I believe this is the first time this has been released on Blu-ray in the UK. And more Hal Ashby is usually a great thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, if this were French, it would be La Propriétaire. Bill Gunn wrote this. That's amazing.
Yeah, Norman Jewison, Rip, also produced this.
Yeah. Hal Ashby, of course, is great. So I already have the Kino, so I shall refrain. Le refrain. But if you have not seen The Landlord, rectify it.
Next up from them is Mississippi Mermaid. This is coming in the UK only. This is Catherine Deneuve in this. This is Francois Truffaut's film from 1969. HD digital transfer, some archival interviews from 1969 with Truffaut on this. We've got an interview with Jean Renoir, who discusses the work of Truffaut from 69. Interview with Jeanette Vincent-Deux from 2024. Commentary by Glenn Kenny from this year as well. Limited edition booklet with writing by Truffaut and contemporary writing on the film as well. Truffaut's got a lot coming out over the last year and a half.
I believe the previous release of this was Twilight Time, right?
I believe so.
It's got a Nick Redmond commentary. So I don't know if I necessarily want to get rid of it, but I definitely want to get this upgrade. Do you know, every time, and I come across Mississippi Mermaid, like, not like super often, but often enough that it bugs me that every time I see the title, Mississippi Queen by Mountain comes into my head.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
You do it too? It's like Mississippi Mermaid.
I was looking at the Kino sale right now, and Mississippi Burning is for sale, and I do the same thing with that title too.
Just every time you see Mississippi, that damn mountain song.
Oh man. Oh, I love it. God, there was another one. I don't remember where it was. Oh, my Jonah, my oldest, is getting into music like crazy. He's been watching like I'm so happy about this. He's been watching Prince performance videos,
Nice.
Michael Jackson performance videos, and then he's I got him into watching some of the old school Queen videos, and he's going crazy with them. And we found this video that's like Jeopardy style music trivia, and my kids were pissed that I was getting like 3 or 4 out of every category right, and they were like, I've never heard of this. And one of them was Deep Purple, and they were like, that's not a real name. Then it came up that was the answer, and I was like, see.
Deep Purple, dude. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, moving along. This is the last thing related to Radiance. Then I wanted to talk about them ever so slightly. But Raro, who is a hosted label by Radiance, they are putting out Revenge of the Blood Beast, aka the She Beast, from 1966.
Yeah.
This is going to be coming with an audio commentary with Paul Maslansky, Ian Ogilvy, and Barbara Steele from 2007. David Gregory is the one that moderated that one. We got a new interview with the star, Ian Ogilvy, new filmed interview with the author and critic Kim Newman on this. And then we also got a booklet with Kevin Lyons, author of the Encyclopedia of Fantastic Film and Television. Raro's stuff coming in the UK has been looking pretty good.
Pretty good. Yep.
Radiance. One thing I really wanted to say, and I'm gonna go back to. So, like this one specifically, these first couple, there are, like we've talked about a little bit recently on the show, there's about 150, literally, like about 150 active boutique labels in the world around there, give or take probably 20. There's probably a little more than that. There are many of the bigger boutique labels that are And I'm not saying not talking shit or anything like that. They're doing good work, but many of them are resting on their laurels and going down paths that they know, like we just talked about with Shout, like giving RoboCop 2 a 4K upgrade, it'll sell really well. They're, over the next 10 years, they're probably going to make way more than what they put into that title. Not knocking them for that. Everybody needs to make a profit. But I really just want to highlight how important it is that places like Radiance and Imprint, which I was talking about this with Brian, who's in the chat tonight as the Wonderment Project. We were talking about this earlier today. Imprint and Radiance specifically are pushing boundaries that challenge the way that boutiques exist in 2024. They're chasing down leads that don't follow like a consistent narrative. When you hear about some of these titles, like Imprint putting out these film focus box sets, they're not just getting the giant films that everybody's heard of. They're getting maybe one of those, but then the other 4 films in the box sets are ones that everybody goes, what even is this? The film focus box sets are there to focus on the work of an actor or director in a way that you don't hear like in the zeitgeist. It's something that's expanding that. And Radiance, pretty much everything, it's things that many people have never heard of that Fran saw somewhere 33 years ago, and he's loved ever since then. And somehow they're all like miraculously amazing movies. Fran is just incredible. But I just really want to like allow people the framework to think about how important it is in the year of 2024 that we have labels that are still doing that. Many people are in comment sections on my videos or on announcements on Facebook and Twitter saying, here we are, nothing for me this month. The Arrow just putting out the same shit on 4K. Go reward the labels that are doing new things if that's how you feel. Go look at the way that these labels are putting work into titles that takes a lot to provide context when we are not hearing about those films. Another one, Severin is doing it in a lot of different ways. They're not working with any studios anymore, whether that's their choice or the studio said never mind after Cruel Jaws. That's up for debate. But the way that Severin is digging into things like Spider Labyrinth, I can say this out of experience. Spider Labyrinth, Will and I had to research everything because there's no academic writing about this film anywhere in English. We had to go out there and find what we could about something that is basically not talked about by anyone. And that's very difficult to do. And it's a very risky move for some of these labels. So as a point of archiving film and discussing art that's existed for decades, take a look at those for sure. Obviously, you don't want them to go so far off the deep end that nobody wants to buy them or they're bad movies, but it looks like most people are pretty damn happy with like Radiance. I mean, look how many awards they won last year. Sure, a handful of them were for Messiah of Evil, which is maybe their most well-known title that they put out last year. But the amount of stuff that people have picked up because it was Radiance, they're discovering new art that they never would have taken a look at. So just a real big like endorsement of these labels. And sorry, this is a weird tangent, but Will and I don't get to talk about Radiance enough because they usually announce in the second or third week of the month. But some of these, they deserve attention and recognition and investment from people that are buying physical media because of the risks they're willing to take. Anything you want to add, sir?
I'm hearing Jay Underwood box set. Film focus. That sounds like a good idea.
Dallas, this is so great. I appreciate Radiance not slapping a slipcover on every title. The movie is the draw. 100%. Completely agree. Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, I have nothing to add because you said it quite well.
If you go too obscure, a good number of titles stay on the shelf and the label suffers. Right. That is possible. But also, I think if you're somebody like Radiance and you've built up that trust already in a very short period of time, I don't think that's as much of a worry. Completely agree. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Dollhouse was pretty big. You're right. Barry the Tick wants to start a petition for a Jay Underwood box set with you.
I appreciate that.
Oh, that's amazing. All right. Speaking of some stuff that we talked about earlier, let's talk about the next title, which is a big one. Ghoulies 2 coming to 4K from MVD Rewind on July 9th. This is one that earlier last year, when they put out Ghoulies 2 on Blu-ray, they said, hey, we think we might be able to get the 4K. It might come in the future. Just letting everybody know. Some people bought the Blu-ray knowing that was possible. And here we are. Ghoulies 2 finally coming out on 4K. And I 100% will stand by Ghoulies 2 is infinitely better than Ghoulies 1. How do you feel about that, Will?
Well, so as with RoboCop, I immediately get excited about a sequel farther down the road. I really want to get to Ghoulies 4,
of course,
which is my favorite of the series. But you're right, Ghoulies 2 is a huge step up from the original, and I'm trying to determine actually if I am one of those people who got the Blu-ray. I can't remember because I got a box set of crappy DVDs of. Well, if I do have the Blu-ray, I don't know. I might upgrade.
This is a good movie.
For no reason. Yeah, I love Ghoulies. But Ghoulies 4. Let's get to Ghoulies 4. Petition. Restore the Wynorski verse.
Next up, speaking of archiving films that need it, 8 Men Out is coming out from MGM as a burned disc, BDR. Really not serving this one well.
So is this different from the Blu-ray that previously was released?
That one I think was olive. This one is going to be straight from MGM, and there's no extras listed. I'm not sure if there will be any.
Damn it, man. All I want is more John Sayles and Ghoulies 4. Because I'm so excited about the City of Hope announcement from a couple weeks ago. Right? Because that came out of nowhere, and it was out of print on DVD. 8 Men Out is one of Sayles' most successful mainstream films. Yeah. Blake's right. That could have been a Criterion one. I hope Criterion is all in on Sayles. I hope we see more and more. I want to see Return of the Brother from Another Planet is the Liana. Oh man, talk about sexual knowledge. I love Liana. Passion Fish. I mean, just everything. But anyway.
Yeah.
This
one deserves better.
Yeah. Well,
this is frustrating.
I guess it's appropriate to feel cheated by this release of 8 Men Out. It's kind of it's like a super meta.
Good movie. Recommend this one if you've never seen it. 1988, really strong cast in this one, clearly. Yeah.
This is Charlie Sheen's best baseball movie.
Yeah, that's 8 Men Out, and really, really depressing. But something that's not depressing, let's talk about Blue Underground announcing High Crime on 4K from 1973. Not only on 4K, they are releasing this on 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD, because this is a title that Blue Underground has never released. Like, this is a big deal. That doesn't happen.
This is the first new release in years.
This is the first thing that's been out on DVD or higher in the US for this film. And Studio can now put this out in the UK, but it was cut by like 10 minutes. Big Franco Nero movie, Enzo G. Castellari directed. This is coming for the first time ever in America, world premiere of a brand new 2024 Dolby Vision HDR 4K restoration of the complete uncensored version from the OCN. And oddly, the last reel of the OCN has disappeared. So the last 10 minutes of the film were restored from the best available print, and they say it still looks pretty good. Man, this is This is a big deal. And Eugenio Ercolani chimed in on Facebook that he has worked on this release and it will be stuffed to the gills with brand new extras, which for him, that probably means at least a brand new interview with Franco Nero, which is exciting.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. D. Sidner says, high crime and misdemeanors. So now I'm reimagining the movie as a buddy cop film with Franco Nero and Woody Allen, which would be funny. Way better than Cop Out. Could not be more stoked. Love me some Enzo Castellari. Love me some Franco Nero. And, of course, Blue Underground is among best in the game for their 4Ks. So this is truly one of the top announcements of the night.
That and got to highlight, we're just about 2.5 years from when Mr. Lustig came out publicly and said that he thinks physical media only has 5 years left. We're halfway there, champ, and you're announcing a big title like this. I love that if this really is the end in your mind, that you're still getting high crime on 4K, which this is a title he's been working on supposedly for like the last 15 years.
Well, to be fair to Bill Lustig, he didn't say when the countdown was going to start.
Oh, he said in the next 5 years.
Like from where?
That was November or December of 2021.
That was on the Serial show?
Yeah.
Well, I for one am always happy when something negative I think turns out to be wrong, and I'm sure
me too.
I'm sure Mr. Lustig is feeling the same way. And I mean, you know, it's a volatile market, and it does seem to be small but strong right now, and I hope it continues.
Fully agreed. Looking to the last, we've got only just a couple left here.
I'll tell you one thing: we'll know for sure that Lustig has changed his mind if we get high definition restorations of shit. I forget the name of it. Those. The pornos that he made, I forget the names of them now. See what's happened to me? God, I've been pickled. It's too late for me. Like, I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to recover. I'm not entertaining anymore. I can't remember anything.
It's all that rosé.
I'm not funny. I can't do it. I'm just gonna.
You're such a diva. Were you thinking of Cecilia?
No.
All right, let's carry on. We only got like 4 left. Next up, Epic Pictures, as part of Dread Presents, they are putting out Bag of Lies from 2024. You can pre-order this already. The trailer for this looks weird. Not wanting to put it down necessarily, but it definitely looks like a 2024 film. What's the title? I see the relief on your face.
The Violation of Claudia. And Hot Honey. Those two. You made those 2 pornos.
Understood.
I want to see a restoration.
Moving right along.
Wait. What did we just see?
Basically nothing. Dread Presents in the U.S. is releasing Bag of Lies, a brand new indie horror from this year.
Bag of Lies.
Coming on June 11th on Blu-ray.
Do you know who did the soundtrack? Lisa Loeb. You say I only hear what I want to. But it's just a bag of lies.
101 Films in the UK is releasing the Lawnmower Man collection as part of their Black Label collection. This is coming on June 10th. They are going to give us The Lawnmower Man and Lawnmower Man 2 Beyond Cyberspace. This is going to have a rigid box packaging, grassroots and cyber suits variations of the Lawnmower Man by Rich Johnson in that. Rich has been on the show previously. He's a great dude. Check that out. And This Diseased Mainframe, the abject horror of bodily digitization in the Lawnmower Man by Andy Marshall Roberts. You're going to have three discs in this. The first is the Lawnmower Man Theatrical Cut. Disc 2 is the Lawnmower Man Director's Cut. Disc 3, Lawnmower Man 2 Beyond Cyberspace. The first Lawnmower Man on each cut is going to have some special features, including commentaries. The second film doesn't look to have anything.
Okay. Speaking of bag of lies, how can they call this the Lawnmower Man Collection? There's the third one.
There is. I don't think that's canon, though, is it?
What?
What?
I don't know. I mean, they did the complete Omen collection. They included the remake for some reason. I just feel deceived.
I get it.
I remember seeing the Lawnmower Man. The only thing I remember is this weirdly creepy sex scene where I don't know, is it the philandering wife or something? Takes Jeff Fahey's hand and puts it on her boob and goes soft, and then like rubs his crotch and goes hard.
And then Goldilocks walks in and says, "Just right."
Oh my gosh. R1133 is doing the Lord's work by pointing out that the DVD of Boy Who Could Fly is still in print, and it is a snap case.
It's Warner Archive for you.
Oh wait, well maybe it's not a snap case. The one I have is a snap case. I don't think it's a Warner Archive edition. I think it must have come out earlier. So yeah, we definitely need an upgrade of The Boy Who Could Fly. Great movie. God damn, it's good.
Oh man.
And I've said several times that I try not to say good or bad. It's great.
All right. Next thing is really just want to talk about Unsung Horrors for a second. They are great people with an incredible podcast. You know, I was talking about things like Radiance and Imprint shining light on underseen movies. That's literally the entire point of Unsung Horrors. Any movie that is a horror movie with less than 1,000 views on Letterboxd is one that they will consider talking about. And one thing that you could do to help right now is go nominate them for the Austin Chronicle Best in Austin under the podcast category. I would really appreciate it if you just give them that attention and take over the Austin Chronicle website with everybody from Disconnected voting. Unfortunately, you do have to register with your email. I have not gotten any email from them, but I believe they're just trying to log so you don't double vote for anybody. But you can also only vote for one category. So if you sign up and just vote for podcast, you can be done. So that's a good thing.
I did it.
Good.
I also just realized I have like 6 different email addresses, so maybe I could do it again.
Maybe they're logging IP addresses. So
it's different for every computer, right?
I think so. I think that's how it works.
I have 4 laptops in here right now.
Jesus.
Well, they're not mine.
Anyways, list Unsung Horrors. Erica and Lance, incredible people, great at what they do. Wonderful podcast. Highly recommend.
Now, wait a second. Does They Live by Film not count as an Austin podcast?
I guess technically they could. It's so weird that both of them are in Austin.
But we're not. We're just like, sorry.
I was listening to Erica and promoting, but hey, if you got another email, go vote for They Live by Film as well.
I had to vote for Unsung Horrors. Wonderful show. Wonderful show.
Well, I'll give this attention to They Live by Film. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to the They Live by Film episode with Sam Deegan that was put up recently. Will has been singing the praise of that interview, and Sam always deserves the attention, but Chris is a pretty great interviewer over there as well.
He is a great interviewer. I really enjoyed my time on that show as well. but that particular interview with Sam Deegan is really, really good. She kind of pulls the curtain back on a lot of her work in ways that I haven't heard. Well, I mean, she's on like a million podcasts, so she might have done it in one of the 100 or so I haven't heard yet, but I was really, really into it. Yeah.
Well, we are down to our last announcement of the week, and it's a big one. Caligula, the Ultimate Cut from 1979, got announced today is coming on 4K later this year from Draft House Films, which is interesting that they went with that name because Draft House Films was around for quite some time, but Draft House was bought, I believe, by Neon. And the fact that they're using the Draft House Films log line for this is an interesting move. Cult Epics had the rights to release this. They passed on doing this 4K because Tinto Brass is not sanctioning this release, of course, because he's not sanctioned anything for this in quite some time. And Cult Epics is rather close to Tinto, so they just decided to pass on it and let Draft House pick it up. This is going to be coming with a 4K Ultra HD reconstruction of the notorious Tinto Brass movie like we've been promised for a while. This latest presentation of the movie made its world premiere at the Cannes Film Festival last year, and it includes never-before-seen footage and alternate takes and camera angles. And Draft House will release the film theatrically across North America in August of this year, followed by a streaming and 4K Blu-ray release. It'll have new interviews with Malcolm McDowell and the film's reconstructionist art historian Thomas Nagovin, and yeah, this has been a crazy story to follow for a long time.
I mean, it'll never be Tinto Brass's movie.
No.
And I think that's important. Like, if you care about Tinto Brass, as Cult Epics, of course, does, and I freaking obsessed with Tinto Brass. My new 4Ks and book by Nico B are on the way, I've heard. So I'm pretty excited about that. But and so I definitely respect that Brass doesn't really want to have anything to do with it. But Brass's style, his visual style, is what this movie is worth it for. Nicomedes points out that it's kind of boring, and then it kind of is from a certain perspective. But I just like looking at it. It's like every shot is gorgeous, and so I'll see whatever cut just because I like thinking about what Brass was trying to go for and kind of speculating on that. Teresa Ann Savoy she's not in a whole lot of movies. Anything you can see her in, she's fantastic. She plays Caligula's sister / lover. It's like a Roman Chinatown.
Well, isn't the other Chinatown already Roman?
Right. So yeah, I'm interested, like Mikey, in seeing the new footage. I'd like to see it without the penthouse footage. It's just something like closer to what Brass was going for. But just right. Yeah, his style is so freaking amazing that I don't care if it's boring or shitty or what. I just want to see it.
I hear that, and then of course, I mean, Helen Mirren and Malcolm McDowell, young and at seemingly the top of their games around that time. It's super weird staring at this super young picture of Malcolm McDowell the week I watched Rob Zombie's 31 and seeing him in that movie compared to this is quite different.
Yeah, he's closer to Peter O'Toole.
Yeah, interested in checking this out, but I totally understand Cult Epics passing on it. That's not surprising and not a bad move for their side at all. They've got supposedly more. They said on Facebook today they've got more Tinto Brass coming. So based on that, they got to keep that relationship pretty copacetic.
I got a wish list.
Next week, just a reminder, King Kong, the 76 King Kong coming on a 4K Steelbook from Paramount, Picnic at Hanging Rock 4K from Criterion, the 90s Lost in Space movie from Scream Factory for some reason. Monster is coming from Well Go USA, and I'm dying to see this one. We got Tormented coming from Film Masters, Mean Guns from MVD Rewind, Lisa Frankenstein getting a release. Still recommend that movie if you haven't seen it. It's a Wonderful Knife, also coming out next week. The Minus Man from Kino Lorber, Abandoned from Unearthed Films, Night Swim coming out, The Looters from Kino Lorber, Fallen Leaves from Movie You Never Can Tell from Kino. We got some standards from Mondo Macabro coming out. Accidentally Preserved from Undercrank. We talked about that last week. But all of it leading to the standard release of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey that Will has had pre-ordered for months. Any of these that you got coming in or already have?
Tormented, definitely. Burt I. Gordon doing like some dramatic thriller stuff. I feel like I've already got Mean Guns on Blu-ray. Do I not?
I already have that release. It just came in last week. So,
well,
are you talking about a previous release?
Yeah. Am I wrong?
I don't know of them. Let me see.
Well, if I don't have it, I'm going to get this for sure. Mean Guns.
There was a UK release.
According to my spreadsheet, I don't have it. So that's happening. Love me some Pune. I'm going to see Lisa Frankenstein next week in a second run theater.
Nice. Good movie.
Looters. I'll watch anything with Rory Calhoun in it. I remember when The Minus Man came out and I did not see it. And now I kind of want to check it out.
It looks like an interesting one.
I'll eventually upgrade my Picnic at Hanging Rock to the Criterion 4K. Yeah. D. Simner asked how many times I had to watch Mandy. Only one person took me up on it, so thankfully I only had to watch it one more time. It was tough. It was tough for me to get through, but I did it.
Joel's here from Scarecrow. What's going on, Joel?
Hey,
Spaghetti's the one that made you watch it. He's been in the chat tonight, so thanks to Spaghetti for giving that torment. Speaking of Tormented,
I salute you. Tormented, I feel like, was on Mystery Science Theater. Am I right?
I think so. They've done quite a few that were on that, I think.
Yeah, they did a lot of Burt I. Gordon's movies. And I remember it being a pretty funny episode. Some people don't like the Mystery Science Theater treatment, but I tend to. I enjoy it.
Sibner says, so Will, you weren't the one who got the second sight deluxe set from Grindhouse Video scratch and dent section of their store of Mandy? Wait, of Mandy or of something else? It is not a second sight release.
Yeah, no way. I will not be purchasing Mandy. But I did give it. I have now seen Mandy 3 times, so I feel like
that's enough to call it the old college try.
I gave it I gave it 3 shots.
Picnic at Hanging Rock. Got it.
Definitely.
Any someone's favorite stuff that we want to shout out to people? We've had a couple announcements over the last couple months. Stuff is now shipping from TerraVision. Check out Dreamstalker. Yeah. It's got Erica and Lance from Unsung Horrors on that for a visual essay that someone's favorite did. Game of Killers is shipping. That's got Sean from the Food for Thought podcast that he and I built that visual essay together. That is honestly a really fun one, very informative, and a fun movie. That movie is great. Can't wait to get that in and watch it on the big screen. The other big thing, we got a comment for you earlier. Somebody got in your release of Door 2 from TerraVision. They said they liked your features on it. Will drafted a visual essay on that, and they did a commentary with Nina K. Martin on that one.
Yeah, I think it turned out okay. It's funny, we were talking about the Sam Deegan interview. I listening to it kind of reminded me that we're really just kind of starting out. I did a commentary with Chris Woofter for Kino's release of Tobe Hooper's I'm Dangerous Tonight 2 years ago. And
Was
that
that
was
really only 2 years ago?
that was, but that kind of went so fast. Like we didn't have a lot of time to prepare for it, but we kind of were like ready for
You
it.
already had, yeah.
We've been working on the book for so many years. So we walked in with like a page of notes and kind of had a conversation throughout, and we had known each other for so long. So what I'm trying to get to is listening to Sam talking. She's done what, like 300 commentaries
She's
and
prolific.
visual essays at this point. And we've done,
In our short period of time, we've done quite a lot.
we've recorded. Can we say how many we've recorded?
I think we've done 7 commentaries now.
7? You and me 7?
I think so.
And then
I'd have to look at the list.
Then plus the one with Nina, and we've got several more scheduled.
Yes.
And I really have appreciated that we've had a chance to do several different kinds of visual essays. We've done kind of impressionistic, like creative ones, and we've done ones that are more like traditional talking head interviews, and then we've done more like serious scholarly ones.
Yeah.
And then we've done one that I really can't wait till it gets announced.
There is a
that was going to be the one.
There's a visual essay that will be announced in the next month that when you see it, you get to see Dr. Dodson in a frickin' wig. It is so perfect.
That's not me.
I can't wait for the world to be able to ingest that.
Well, anyway, my point is, we started out, things happened so fast, and they happened at a time of great that coincided with like a whole bunch of like bad personal stuff going on and health stuff going on and stress, and we were trying to kind of find our voices, both individually and together, and we still are.
Absolutely.
I can't remember. I asked you, and now I can't remember what the answer is. Have we? So of the of the commentaries that we've recorded, I've forced Ryan to completely re-record from scratch 3 of them. Like after we had done the whole thing, then like, no, we got to start over 3 times.
And all 3, I've told you no at first, and I had to be talked into
it. and they came out better each
Yes.
time. Spider Labyrinth was one of them.
I remember.
We had to redo that. The first time, Ryan's like, it was like, can your chair be a little quieter? I was sitting on this rickety chair. It was like I was like in a Looney Tune chair. It was like this rickety ass. Looked like it was about to collapse.
Yeah.
But so listening to the way Sam talked about her process and everything, just kind of reminded me that there's no shortcuts at all. In order to do these things, you have to like do the boring grind work.
It's true.
Over and over and over. And in a way that was kind of inspiring to hear that like the drudgery of it is a feature, not a bug. Like it can be really tedious to prepare, but at the same time super exciting and fulfilling. And you have to slow down and find the space and stillness that you need to do a good job. And I'm particularly intentional about trying to carve out or craft an accessible style, because I am an academic. I come from that world. I'm very familiar with the people who write in inaccessible jargon, and I hate that. There's a place for it, and some of it's necessary in some circles, but I don't want to be that. I want to be I want it to be fun or entertaining, and also informative.
Yeah.
So finding the voice is hard because I've already got a voice, like a persona that's pretty well established. And depending on the label, you have to really tone it down, because some labels are like, do not make a joke, which is like telling a child not to eat the cookie and then leaving the child alone in the room with the cookie.
And then we have another commentary that ends with a bunch of puns, just because we can.
I'm not sure if they've heard that, because I don't think it's going to go over that well.
I can guarantee you it will.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they'll all come out. We really do have a lot of like unbelievable stuff coming out in the future, and I don't want to sound like we're just on here self-promoting, because I think I'm like so honored to be doing this and to be working on these films for these labels. I want it to be about promoting them, because they're putting out some really good shit.
I agree. That's like tonight when we talked about Kinzadza. That's why I spent so much time talking about it, because that
Awesome.
That movie's amazing, but also it is one of those movies that a lot of labels would never put that out, because it is a risk. It's a movie that's not super well known in the Western world. It's a movie that is well made, but it's one that's not, like, on the surface extremely accessible. But most people, when you watch it, will fall in love with that type of a movie. And for Deaf Crocodile, like, that's something that should be applauded, that they're willing to do that and try that. And I think they've sort of earned the fan base that will take a trip with many of these gonzo titles that they're going to put out. Because when you're talking about something like the assassination of the Tsar Sultan or World War III, like, those are two very different movies, but they come from the same heart of curation. And then you throw in something like Plimpton's The Tune, and you're like, this is odd, but I love the journey that I'm on with this label. And they continue to make choices like that, like I said about Imprint and Radiance, like, they are not going down a street that is well lit in the boutique world. They're going down a dark alley that takes that's some risks. But yeah, honestly, that's where you find some of the coolest shit.
A dark alley through was like a dark alley with Carmen Sandiego.
Well, and if it's Deaf Crocodile, it's a dark alley with a bunch of cats.
With a bunch of cats.
So many cat movies.
I just my daughter and I, she asked if we could watch her favorite Disney movie, which is also my favorite Disney movie, which is The Aristocats. And she hadn't seen it in a long time, and I was really proud of her, because when it got to the racist part, she looked at me and was like, "Oh, what is that?" So recognizing the Aristocats has a racist part, like all Disney movies. But I was telling her, I was like, honey, I'm working for a company that puts out a lot of cat-based movies. Would you like to check some of them out? And she was like, not right now.
That's funny.
Maybe down the road. But anyway, yeah, so I think in the year to come, we're really going to be growing and evolving. Stan says, don't mix up with the aristocrats. Yes, definitely. and hopefully getting better and better. I was really happy with how Door 2 turned out, and that was really the first one that's gotten released where we've had multiple pieces on it. So I'm excited for all this stuff to grow. And
that's not true. Spider Labyrinth.
Oh right, almost forgot. We had like 3 things on that.
Visual essay and a commentary, yeah.
Right.
John Public says, I ordered Kinzatsu before I realized you guys were on it. Nice bonus for folks. And that's I hope people appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm so psyched that like we're on that, and that's forever, or at least for about 20 years, which is how long Blu-rays last.
I still think that's a crock.
We'll find out.
We will. Any other stories? Can we share anything about upcoming projects or anything? I mean, we've got a lot of stuff in the works.
I don't know what we're allowed to say.
I know that people are going to be excited for this. There's some TerraVision titles that were announced last August that we're going to be a part of that they haven't announced that we're on those discs. But there's some stuff that we're doing for those that is going to make people very, very happy. We are working with some. Go ahead.
I hope so.
It better at this point.
You know me, until it happens, I'm like, it's
right.
All fall apart.
We are working with some labels that we've already done some releases for, so you'll be seeing some new stuff from a few of those labels actually with our names on it here soon. Excited. There's some big projects on our to-do list right now that are intimidating, that are exciting. But the biggest thing is I know the love that Will and I put onto these things are what we want to see on these discs when we get them in. And so we are looking at these as not just passion projects, but like coming from our experience of what do we enjoy and what do we think other people will enjoy. Let's give them exactly that. And so like, looking behind you, that Zombie Army disc, there's a really fun, pretty innovative visual essay about asylums and horror movies. It's a unique piece. And now that it's out and people have started to see it, I will say we turned in that visual essay for Saturn's Core, and Ross messaged me back and said, this is too classy for the Saturn's Core release. And I laughed so hard. It's wild to see, but it's something that we want to see something like that on a film like Zombie Army, because movies like that are important in cinematic history. These no budget and low budget indie horrors that cemented the careers of many people that we all love, they deserve to be talked about. They deserve to be ranted about. They deserve to be raved about. They deserve to be explained in context and explain that they are important. So we will do our best to keep doing that.
Anthony guessed right. Our next commentary is for 10 Cup.
4K. Yeah.
My 2 favorite things, Kevin Costner and golf.
I mean, I like one of those. I'm still surprised that you ranted about Rene Russo for 43 minutes.
Oh, is she in that?
I think so. That's the only reference in my mind. I'm not sure.
I saw Dallas Jones mention Transylvania Twist, and that would definitely be a number 1 like wish list movie to work on. Transylvania Twist, one of my favorites Jim Wynorski movies that has yet to get to high definition.
I know there's a bunch of Wynorski stuff that if we got word that it was coming out, Will would like drop everything and run to a label to beg them to be on the disc.
Oh, dude. Well, these 2 shelves.
That's all Wynorski?
All Wynorski, and it's mostly DVD because most of his stuff has not been.
Time. It's time.
We do have the 1 4K of Return of Swamp Thing, which I hope will be.
Shoot, I don't remember if I picked that up or not.
Blasphemer.
Michael Smith, when do you guys think Second Sight is finally going to release The Hitcher? I have a feeling that it'll probably come out in like the end of the summer-ish. It'll probably be announced in like May or June, somewhere around there.
I was trying to figure out a joke that like it had already been released, but it's just taken a while to get here. like a hitchhiking joke, but I couldn't get it together fast enough.
That's funny. Stan wants to know, have you ever met Jim Wynorski?
No, I haven't.
Stan has.
That's cool. Stan knows everybody, man.
That's true.
I tell you, who I have met? I've met Stan Geezy.
Whoa, really?
That's right, in the flesh, and I hope to repeat that experience again soon.
I'm dying to meet Stan in person.
He's a cool dude, man. So cool. I don't know. What would I do if I met Jim Wynorski? He wouldn't
take your shirt off.
He wouldn't want to talk to me. Yeah, my tits are getting big enough. He wouldn't want to talk to me. But I tell you, oh no,
huh?
I almost said something I'm not allowed to say yet.
What was I about to say? New World. Ryan says, add to the Umbrella release. Yeah, I think it's going to be a much better release than the Umbrella release, because it will be a 4K release and it will not be the old German scan of it.
In the flesh. We did talk about shunting just a little bit, Stan and I.
Speaking of, I'm honestly shocked Arrow has not done a Society 4K
yet. Well, hey, I don't know if you talked to that flower guy, but if they're thinking about it and they need some new extras.
I would love to get into the Arrow stable at some point.
Society would be a great place.
There's a lot of places to fit in with that one.
Yeah.
Well, we're at 3:20. Anything else you want to share before we call it a night, my friend?
No, I mean, next time we talk, we should have several new titles that we can enthuse about. And thanks everybody for sticking around. This was fun. It was a journey for me, and I appreciate the support. We'll see if I can maintain.
Again, thank you to everybody that's always here every Thursday. It is a light in dark weeks sometimes. This week has been really difficult acclimating back to work after being away from kids for a few days. That was like a miracle time for us. So it was certainly difficult. Beyond that, moving forward, there is a lot coming up. Next week, I've been hinting at the interviews coming out on the channel. I believe next week you're getting an interview with Josh Schaefer, the guy between Lunch Meat VHS. We talk a little bit about his love for VHS and the format in 2024, where people are getting VCRs and why people look at VHS and all that other fun stuff. After that, there's some other interviews that are going to be super exciting for some people, including one from a really big boutique that we all love. That is somebody that I don't think I've ever seen interviewed publicly. So I can't wait to share that one. Eager to share with everybody. Will, you're always incredible to have here the first Thursday of every month. If you all are new here, make sure you check out the links in the description below. Will is a great dude, and he's done some really great stuff. Beyond that, if you ever want to join us and talk more, we got a Patreon. You can come join and discuss on the Discord. We got a pretty robust community there. And other than that, thank you all for hanging out. And we'll see you next Thursday with Zach from They Live by Film. Speaking of that podcast, he will be with us next Thursday. Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you.
Bye.
Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share with someone else that may appreciate this.